my gosh, here we are. It's Monday morning. No, it's not. It's Monday afternoon. I'm wrong. JK, just kidding. It's Monday afternoon. It's Monday afternoon, bro. It's Monday afternoon, 12:10 p.m. Monday, July 22nd. Here we are, here in the flesh. Got the dogs already barking right when I said, what's up? Dude, I'm excited to bring you guys along on this journey today. Today's going to be a journey, bro. Just giving you 100 heads up, bro. Just giving you that little heads up, bro. Today's going to be a journey. What's up, Giggles? Today is gonna be a journey. Who's here with me on this journey? Check out the Grateful Dead tie-dye. If you're seeing this now or seeing this later, you can say, nice shirt, dude. Cheers, top of the morning to you, or top of the afternoon. Cheerio, mate. We're just gonna wait for a little bit of people to trickle in, bro. Today's been today, bro, and that's all it's ever been, bro. You know, you just got to take it as it comes, the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs, and the more you can just radically accept that the ebbs and flows and the polarity of this planet and how the world works, you just realize it's just like part of this spiritual dance. And hopefully by acknowledging that, once you get like in the lows, you're aware enough what's happening so that you can be hyper vigilant to pay attention to things that you need to shed, things you need to grow from, things you need to heal from, changes or boundaries or whatever it may be. Who's up in here today? If you're here, can you just say what's up, bro? You know, just even saying hi in the comments really helps the algorithm, bro. What's up, Marie Moon? If you wanted to, before we even get ready for the people that are here and then the people that are seeing this later, you could just comment something you're grateful for. We could just start the stream off in a positive vibration and just comment something you're grateful for while I'm telling you something I'm grateful for. To be honest, I'm grateful to be a dad, bro. Yesterday was Father's Day, is what all of us know, bro. And I just have to say, dude, that being a dad is a blessing, bro. I didn't get it right at first. Dude, I messed up a lot. I didn't have a real relationship with my oldest son until he was like 8 years old, bro. I was addicted to narcotics and in and out of correctional facilities and treatment centers. Just mess up after mess up, trying to just figure it all out, bro. Just trying to figure it all out, bro. If you've ever just been trying to figure it all out, you could put some red, green, and yellow hearts in the emoji, the heart emojis in the chat. Red, green, and yellow heart emojis in the chat. You just don't got to say anything if you don't feel compelled to and just feel like you're just trying to figure it out. But at least it lets other people who might feel nervous about commenting that there are other people out there that are just still trying to figure it out, bro. And that's really what we're trying to do here, at least on Tripoverdrip. I try to give you guys spiritual gold, bro. I'm trying to give you guys the one phrase, the one thing that someone just needed to say to make the change, bro. To give you the confidence, the just morale boost, the spiritual energetic hug from my particles to yours, because quantum physics says that our particles are in superposition and they're entangled if we've ever interacted. And if we're interacting now, that means that our particles are entangled, and I'm just sending you tons and tons of love energy and hugs, bro, if you're one of those individuals out there struggling, bro. What's up? What's up? What's up? We've got 2 people up in the chat on YouTube. What's up, YouTube? We've got 5 people up on Twitch. I see Marie Moon, Scotty Will, Giggles. What's good? What's good? We got 9 people up over here on freaking Facebook. What's up, Facebook? How's it going, bro? How's it going? What's up, Release and Transform? Jason Swenson, what's up? Realistically, I'm just trying to get you to 1 comment so that it helps the algorithm, but 2, so I could say hi to you and say what's up to you. But if you're too cool, bro, I get it. What's up, Britt? Hey, what's up, Britt? Allison, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Dude, last night, bro, I was on I was on a podcast last night, bro. It was live on YouTube. You guys, let me see if it's up on their page. I know that it wasn't up immediately, so I can send you the link. Outside Minds podcast. Let's see. Is it up? Is it up? Is it up? Is it up? It's not. But it was a live stream, bro. I wish you guys. There were some people. There were some people, bro, that freaking were from Team Human that was up in there. What's up, dude? Janae, what's up? Mac, Nina, Rosa, how's it going, dude? What's up, you guys? What's up, you guys? Hey, so Facebook, check this out, bro. You guys can watch it on Facebook if you want. But I'm really trying to get, I need to get 3,000 hours total watch time. And I think that watching it on YouTube is way better than watching it vertically on your phone on Facebook, bro. So if you wanted to jet over to YouTube, I did just drop the link in the chat. Tripoverdrip on YouTube, bro. I just hit the 1,000 subs. Like I said, now I need 3,000 hours watch time. So yeah, what's up, guys? You guys ready for today's mindful message? Y'all ready for this? Boom, 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 boom. What's up? What's up? What's up, Team Human? Can we get Team Humans in the chat? If you're not part of Team Human and this is your first time here, don't worry, bro. Hopefully by the end of this opening message, you do become a part of Team Human, bro. That's what I hope. That's really what I hope. So just stick around, because today what we're going to get into is a whole bunch of stuff. Today I'm just going to open up with the mindful message. It's something that we never know where we're going to end up on the live stream, bro. So I don't know at the end when I have planned we're even going to get there, because conversation might get deep, might get long, might get complex and simple and beautiful and confusing all at the same time. So buckle up. But also, so I have like this little mindful message. I like to leave you with some spiritual gold at the beginning of the stream, because like I said, I don't know where the stream's going to end up, bro. So we give you the mindful message, and then we go and just watch some clips that I pulled from X on the internet, and we kind of talk about it and try and decipher what is happening and what's being said, and if there's propaganda, and just like help through discernment and have other people around and in the chat on the live to have these conversations, to ask questions about things that maybe you have questions about, just to have the open dialogue about the things that I'm seeing, maybe you've seen, maybe you've heard of, and just have a conversation to help all of us kind of decipher it and figure it out together. Correct? Is that what Team Human's about? Is we're just trying to figure this out together, bro. And then I'm going to start this new section, okay? You guys ready for a new segment of the live? It's really something I'm going to really be trying to do. Let me just go ahead and I turned the captions. I turned the chat off just because when I record the mindful message to post it later on my platforms, the chat sometimes can get distracting, but I will put the chat up, just know. Okay, so this new segment, okay, is I pay for web, bro, and I need to really put it to use. And I need to also start making more long form content to post onto YouTube. So every segment, every stream, I'm going to have a little segment set up, some topics and things that we're going to use the Epstein files or the FBI files to kind of decipher and figure out. And I'm going to record that as well and put that. I'll leave the chat for that as well. So, I mean, if you guys have like specific topics or people or, ideas or things that you potentially think that might be in web, I would love to let you guys get in on this. So if you want to join the Discord, bro, let me just get the Discord link real quick. We got YouTube video ideas, bro. So if you join the Discord, you know what I'm saying, and you see the chat, let me just show you the Discord right here. We got peeps up in here. We show you it right here. Get the little server, copy the, I didn't mean to send you an invite, Marie Moon. I just did that live on chat just so you see it. Okay, so I copied that. But look, we got one right here. Let's see here. Close the door. No, close the door, please. Close the door, please. No, close the door, please. Thank you. We got a YouTube video ideas for Tripoverdrip. You know what I'm saying? So if you got like people that you want to like, topics that doesn't have to even be inside of web. If you have just, maybe there's a conspiracy that you want me to, do some research on, and then I do some research on it, and then I say that this is what we're going to be talking about, and then you're in here while I present what research I came up with, and we collectively build on the research, etc. What, I can't do this alone. I need a team of motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I need a team of motherfuckers. You heard me? Okay. I dropped the Discord link. I hope you guys join. I'd love to see you there. We got over 250 people from Team Human inside the Discord. Like I said, we got a whole bunch of chats like show me your food recipes, your art, your house plants. How about Earth's creatures, like a support group if you're struggling, for a chat group specifically to support people that might need someone to talk to. We have an oracle chat where people put in like tarot cards and stuff. We've got an all about crystals, a wellness chat where we talk about health stuff that they don't want you to know, etc., etc. A book chat, a connect with me chat, a promote your socials chat. So if you're like a content creator or have like a small business, come up over on the Discord, bro, and drop it in promote your socials. You know what I'm saying? Team Human is about community. We want to help everybody. I appreciate you, Daniel. Daniel Kibbe, I appreciate your kind words, bro. It really truly does just mean a lot to me, bro. It does. All the affirmations you guys give me, all the likes, all the comments. If you've been paying attention over the last few months, you can probably see obviously why these platforms, specifically Facebook, has been shadow banning me. I've been talking more and more about things that obviously they don't want people to talk about. So if you're seeing this on Facebook, bro, now or later, bro, every like that you see, bro, helps, bro. Every like on a post you see, every comment about something that inspires you to comment because it's something you're interested, helps, bro. They're definitely shadow banning me, bro. I'm really, really stressed, bro. My financial situation has plummeted from surviving to I don't know what I'm going to do. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you guys just being here. I'm just being transparent with you, bro. I'm just being upfront. All of it helps, bro. They're trying to take me down, bro. There's not, when I say that fucking I've looked on Google Trends and my fucking videos have, my name's been searched in Israel and shit, and I'm telling you I'm being shadow banned because statistically I've just been like losing followers actually over the last 3 months, and I don't understand how, if I'm talking about more and more applicable stuff, how I can possibly be losing followers. I don't understand how, if I have 500,000 followers on Facebook, for some reason only 12 of you got a notification. I mean, out of 500,000, I should at least fucking get like at least 100, I would assume. You know what I mean? So I'm just letting you know, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I love you. If nobody's told you today, you're a badass, beautiful or handsome motherfucker, dude. Ain't nobody gonna hold you down. You know what I'm saying? I love you. Let's get into this mindful message, bro. Let's get into this mindful message. So if you're on Facebook, just let me say, if I ever say anything that resonates, bro, just know commenting helps. If I ever say anything that resonates on Facebook or YouTube, hitting the like button, you know, the little heart button that you can push that will send likes up the screen, that helps so much. As well as if you're on YouTube, bro, and you actually like the actual live stream, not just hit the like button in the live chat, that helps. I love you guys. Let's get into this, bro. Because I got a good one for you today, bro. I got a fucking banger ass shit for you, homie. You heard me. Let's get into this, bro. This is going to be epic today. We got a good one. We got a good mindful message today, okay? We got a good ass mindful message today. We got some clips. I can't say the clips are going to be the bestest of all bestest there ever was is, of all times is. But I can say the Epstein segment that I curated for you to go through web is going to be crazy, bro. It's about Zorro Ranch, bro. Have you ever looked and seen the files that, you know, kind of tell a story about what's happening at Zorro Ranch? So what I believe that's happening at Zorro Ranch might not be but what you believe at Zorro Ranch. And hopefully we can look at these Epstein files about Zorro Ranch come to a conclusion, either collectively or individually. And either one is okay, even if we all don't agree and you don't agree with me. We're all just human, bro. We don't have to agree on things to love each other and to have conversation. You know what I'm saying, homie? Okay, you guys ready for this? Can I just get some, either, like, before I start this mindful message, can I get some like alien emotes or some crazy cool emotes in the chat? What's up, Allison Warren? I appreciate you coming up over here. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you. What's up, YouTube? We got 8 people on Twitch, 9 people on Facebook, 4 people up on YouTube. There might be more. Some of the times they don't show me the correct numbers. But this one's a banger. And this is not what you think. We're talking about something that not a lot of people even really talk about. Are you ready for this? Here we go. Cheers. There are really only 2 kinds of spiritual people on the internet right now. The ones that are using spirituality to feel everything more honestly. And then there's the ones that are like using spirituality to never have to feel anything at all. One group says, I meditate so I can face my life with clearer eyes. The other says, if I just stay high vibe enough, maybe I won't have to look at my patterns, my past, or the people that I've hurt. One group uses spiritual tools to get into their body, their relationships, and their responsibilities. The other uses spiritual language like a smoke machine to disappear behind, like everything happens for a reason, low vibration. You're just not aligned. So before we go any deeper, I want you to pick a side in your own mind. Are you using spirituality to wake up or to tap out? And you don't have to tell anyone your answer, but your life already reflects it. And if you're even just a little bit honest enough to admit that you're here to wake up, even if you've used spirituality to hide before, you could also just comment, I choose real healing in the comments. So you've got a timestamp on the moment that you chose the path that actually costs something. So let's name this clearly so your brain can't dodge it. Toxic spirituality isn't crystals, tarot, astrology, church, psychedelics, breathwork, manifestation, or any tool itself. Toxic spirituality is how you use it. It looks like using light and love to dodge a hard conversation and accountability. It looks like calling abuse a soul contract so you never have to feel angry or set a boundary. Or labeling anyone who disagrees with you as low vibration so you don't have to examine your own ego. Or it could look like blaming people's suffering on their beliefs while ignoring systems, traumas, and basic reality. Spirituality that explains everything, changes nothing, and protects your image more than it heals your heart is pointless, dude. It's when manifestation quietly turns into, if you're poor, sick, or struggling, it's your fault for not thinking correctly. It's when forgiveness turns into, you're not allowed to be angry. Angry is unspiritual. It's when non-attachment turns into, I don't care about anything, so nothing can hurt me. Bruh. Deep breath. That's not enlightenment. That's avoidance while you're burning some incense. Real spirituality doesn't make you less human. It makes you more human. More able to feel. More able to tell the truth. More able to sit with your own shadow instead of projecting it onto everyone else. So if you want to know whether you're drifting into toxic territory, here's a few massive red flags. And I promise you, I resonated with at least one. You possibly might as well. Red flag number 1 is the high vibe only as like a way to shut people up. If your spirituality can't handle grief, anger, confusion, or doubt, it's not spirituality, bro. It's an aesthetic. Any path that tells you, don't say that or you'll attract it. Don't admit that, it lowers your frequency. Don't look at that, it's not your timeline. Is training you to be more fragile, not more free. A grounded spiritual path will teach you how to move with your emotions, not pretend that you don't have them. Red flag number 2. Everything is a mirror except you. Yes, people can reflect our wounds back to us. Yes, relationships can expose our patterns. But if everybody around you is always toxic, asleep, or unhealed, and you're the only enlightened one in your story, that's not awakening. That's like a main character complex. But if spirituality puts you in the role of a teacher, a healer, a guide, a twin flame expert, ascension specialist, and never in the role of a student, apologizer, beginner, that's your ego in a robe, bro. Now, red flag number 3. It's all love as an excuse to avoid repair. It's all love sounds beautiful. But if it's all love, means you never circle back to apologize, never acknowledge harm, never change behavior. That love lives in your mouth, not in your nervous system. Real love is not allergic to the sentence, I was wrong. This wasn't okay. I'm going to do better. If any of this stings, good. It means that there's still something in you that wants the real thing, bro. So let's flip it for a second. Real spirituality is not a vibe, bro. It's about capacity. It's your capacity to tell the truth without decorating it. It's your capacity to sit with someone in pain without trying to fix it for your own comfort. It's about feeling your own shame, rage, jealousy, fear, and not make those feelings your identity. It doesn't mean that you never get reactive. It means that when you do, you're willing to look at it. Sometimes real spirituality looks like canceling plans and saying, I'm not in a good place mentally. I need to take care of myself. Or leaving a situation that you prayed would change because you love yourself too much to call neglect a lesson forever. It could be admitting that your intuition was actually anxiety or trauma talking and adjusting without destroying yourself. It's about less ascending to the 5D and being more honest in the 3D. Real spirituality grounds your body. You pay attention to your breath when you're spiraling. You notice when situations make you feel smaller, and you stop calling that humility. It's when you give your nervous system like real resources, bro. Sleep, food, movement, instead of expecting that affirmations are going to fix everything. It grounds you in your relationships. You communicate instead of ghosting and calling it energetic disconnection. You stop using protecting my peace as code for I don't want to do the uncomfortable work or of talking this through. It looks like you let people be human, not props, in your storyline. And it grounds you in your responsibility, bro. Real spirituality, you have to acknowledge when your choices hurt people, dude. You don't hide behind we're all one to avoid doing your own repair work. You use your awareness, bro, and the present moment to make different choices, not smarter excuses. If this is landing, if you feel like someone is saying out loud things that you've only said to yourself inside of your head, just take a deep breath with me, bro. Look at yourself in the mirror, like literally or like in your mind, and just comment, no more spiritual bypassing. So you don't let your ego talk you out of what you already know is true, dude. So here's why this matters, even if you're not that spiritual. Everybody's using something not to feel, bro. For some people, it's work. Some people, it's substances. Some people, it's doom scrolling. For some, it's spirituality dressed up in a language that sounds enlightened but functions exactly just like another escape. So if you've ever sat in a breathwork circle and then gone home and repeated the same harmful pattern, or you've pulled a tarot card or read astrology and never changed a behavior, or journaled about your shadow and never apologized to a person, you already know the difference between touching the idea of healing and actually living different. And I'm not saying this to try to put any of you down. I'm saying this because some part of you is done living on the surface of your own life, bro. The fact that you're still here and listening instead of just swiping away to the next algorithmic feed, it tells me one thing. You're not looking for pretty language anymore. You're looking for something that just changes how you show up as a human. And that's what I mean when I continuously talk about Team Human, bro. It's not a logo or a team that you join. It's just a tiny, stubborn decision to be honest more than your curated image, to be more responsible than your excuses, more compassionate than your fear tells you is safe. If choosing to let your spirituality make you kinder, clearer, and more real, not just more branded. So if this rang anything, just even a little bell, even 1%, here's what I'd love for you to do with that. First, let's keep it painfully simple. Just pick one spot in your life where you know that you've been using spirituality to avoid something. Maybe it's a conversation that you owe someone. Maybe it's a feeling you keep labeling as low vibe instead of actually grieving. Or a habit that you've been calling a lesson instead of a behavior that needs to be changed. So to decide that this week, you're going to make one concrete step toward that thing. Not to meditate on it, not to pull cards about it, not to ask the universe for another sign. Just take one step. And here's the second thing. If you want to stay around for conversations like this, where we're not just talking about portals and timelines, but I try my best to just help everyone just to be better humans. And it helps me even saying it. Hit the follow button, bro. Hit subscribe. Whatever button your platform gives you. So this doesn't just become another one of those spiritual clips where you like nod and hit the like button and then you forget about it. And if you're watching this on Instagram, videos this long, bro, the app doesn't show them to anyone who doesn't already follow me. And I know someone who doesn't follow me maybe needs to hear this message. So please share this video and or hit the repost button. If this actually helped you see something even just a little bit clearer, there's got to be somebody out there that needs to hear this that doesn't already follow me. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to perform it. I'm just asking you to quietly pass it on. Like I said, if you're still here at this point, know this. I see you, bro. I respect you. And everything I'm building under this whole Team Human umbrella is for the people who are brave enough to trade toxic spirituality for the messy, holy work of real growth. You don't need to become more spiritual. You just need to become more you. And that alone is more sacred than any aesthetic ever could be. I love you, Team Human. Shit, ballin'. Dang, bro. I don't know about y'all, but I hope I just kicked off the vibe today up in the stream, bro. I appreciate you, Boone. What's up? You know what I'm saying? If you think the freaking mindful message was fire, bro, just wait. The end of the stream, after the Zorro Ranch web dive, we are going to get back to the Khazarian Mafia, back to Chuck Swindell Jr., his God Eaters Part 2, where he's explaining the religious satanic cult that sacrifices children to the deity named Baal or Moloch. Yeah, we're going to get there. You guys see this badass motherfucking tie-dye, bro? It's got that freaking, that Grateful Dead tie-dye, homie. I can't say that word. I get in trouble because I have white skin. Ask my wife, Britt. I'm telling you. Dude, I got so many shirts, bro. That's like, I'm the type of motherfucker that just has lots of different types of shirts, bro. All right, bro. Here we go. Team Human's up in the Chizat. What's up, Team Human? Did I just get rid of that one? Dang, I messed that one up, dude. I might have to find one more banger-ass clip right here. I can say ninja. But if you don't know, you know. I fucking come from a pretty I guess there was a period of my life where I thought I was a gangster, bro. Okay? And that word that I'm not supposedly allowed to say because I have white skin, even though I'm pretty sure there was like a huge viral TikTok trend going on last year where gingers are black, I guess, right? I don't know. Look it up. Search it up. Gingers are black. Anyways, that's neither here nor the point. Nor the point. Okay, you guys ready for this? All right, 9 people up on YouTube. No, Facebook. Facebook, can we hit the chat? Can we hit the like button a whole bunch of times? Oliver Tree. Shout out Oliver Tree, bro. All right, just, yeah, okay, I see the likes going up on YouTube. Here we go. 6, 8, 10. What's up, dude? We got like 27 people. I actually think that's not correct, but okay. Oliver Tree, bro. The American singer and influencer Oliver Tree, who reportedly died in a helicopter crash in Brazil, is said to have produced a long documentary in Antarctica focused on UFOs and alien bases. A clip from the recording has recently surfaced showing him in the icy wall environment with audio equipment. This project allegedly explores hidden bases and non-human activity in the polar region, aligning with long-standing claims of restricted Antarctic zones and unusual astral phenomena. Tree's distinctive style brought attention to the footage amid ongoing interest into polar mysteries. This revelation adds another layer of discussion of suppressed information. Let's just watch the clip. You guys ready to watch the clizip of the clizididididoo-da? 1 second. 1 second. Sorry, just 1 second. No audio. Let me just come up over here like this and hit it like this. Hit it like this. Hit it like that. Go like this. Sorry. Let me just get.
Or like a missile. We've seen ones that are more circular, the traditional, standard kind of boring textbook stuff. We've seen a wide array of those.
Okay, so if there was no audio, let me replay it.
So this is one of the things I came here to research, which is the alien bases.
We saw UAP.
UAPs, we've seen UFOs, we've seen a wider range of things. We've seen ones that were oblongato, very long, more like a missile. We've seen ones that are more circular, the traditional, standard kind of boring textbook stuff. We've seen a wide array of those. Those are rare.
I'm always watching.
They're just coming out from underwater.
Oh yeah, they work their way down. They finally make a hole.
Yes. Woo. Yes, Brittany. Oliver Tree is the musician that's in music videos.
The way they go to that water drain down, sometimes you see them shooting out the sides of these big chunks. I've been keeping my eyes pretty wide open. And
We saw one time, it was absolutely stunning.
I'm on a rifle team with the military.
Me too.
I'm pretty good at ranging. Just looking at things. And like I say, just look at the stuff you know, and the length of it, give you a good judgment.
If I was to bet, that little one looks like an entry fork right there. The one on the right, that small one, that's probably for a smaller ship. Get a close up of that. What I'd get to get a chance to go up in there. Are you fucking shit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count 5 different entry points to this alien base. This is the reason why I've stayed in Antarctica so long. Look at this fucking thing. I'm giving an interview about alien bases and one shows up right behind me. This is a daily thing here. This is something that has kept me in Antarctica because I want to know more. And without the proper military support, I can't go deeper into this because this is NATO territory. It's been closed off. But a guy can wonder and a a guy can watch from a distance and document. We've got multiple cameras here so that we can try to get this footage and upload this to the internet where everyone can witness this for free. We don't have to hide this anymore. I'm so sick of the government hiding what's really going on here in Antarctica. This is what's going on. Alien bases that go underwater where you have orbs, you have UFOs, you have UAPs, you have so many different types of vehicles, but this is what keeps me. And as much as I love it, I feel like maybe I've hit a threshold. Maybe at some point I can come back and work closer with more scientists. I could potentially work with the U.S. government if they will allow me to be a lead researcher so that we can figure out what's really going on here.
There's a disconnect. That's the problem.
It is concerning, yeah.
Yeah. He thinks the world is going like this. He's just so off base. So, we're going to bring him home. We're going to get him some help.
I think a lot of people are scared and they come at it from a fear angle. But for me, I come from an open heart and open arms. And I welcome the aliens in, and that's why I've had so many interactions with UFO ships. That's why I've seen them time after time. Because I know I have an open mind to this, but an open heart. And I know that aliens can pick up on that.
What do you think? Do you think that's why they got him, bro? Do you think that's why they got him, bro? Let me see if I can find this video. Or do you think they got him because of this? This is where it gets crazy.
He's not going to jail.
Okay, wait a second. Wait a second. I think there's a different one. I think it's right here. This is where it's going to get weird, bro. This is where it gets weird. Maybe he got unalived because of this. I don't know.
Hey, sir. Hey, little girl.
No. No te asustes. ¿Alguna vez has probado las dulces? Oh, no. Policía.
What do you want, amigo?
Mr. Pizza le está dando dulces a mi amiga Katie.
Pizza? What kind of pizza?
¿Qué?
Pineapple? Margarita?
No.
Broccoli jalapeno popper anchovy deluxe?
¿Eso existe?
Oh, yeah, you gotta try it. Pepperoni?
Sí.
That's the worst kind of pizza.
¿Quieres más?
Sí.
Tengo más en mi casa porque vamos a una lentillas.
Mr. Pizza, you're under arrest for giving candy to a kid.
Si puedes.
Come on, kid. You're my witness.
Crazy, bro. Do you think he was a troll? Do you think he was a troll or what? Was he a troll or was he a truther, bro? A lot of people are saying he's a troll and a truther. It's insane, bro. Rest in peace, Oliver Tree. Either way, he was a phenomenal musician, bro. He just tried to talk to people and tell them basically what I've seen repeatedly is he just said, even if you're ugly, you're beautiful. He just wanted people to feel loved, bro. All right, you ready for this? Gets weird. It gets weird.
Why they use DNA from the cells of other humans and other animals in vaccines is to trigger an autoimmune reaction. Now I'm going to set this up for everybody.
I mean, I feel sick.
This is to make you aware. This is the autoimmune industry complex. Inject people without them asking or knowing DNA from other species and other humans into their body you will wreck their immune system and create autoimmune diseases for life. Do you want to know how I know it?
No.
Real simply, have you ever heard of a person getting an organ transplant?
Sure.
Yes.
Name an organ that they like to transplant.
Kidneys.
Kidneys are a good one. Yep. Kidneys, liver, hearts, right? You get all these, right? Lungs for pulmonary fibrosis. They have lots of organs they do transplants from. When a person you've ever known gets an organ transplant, that organ is coming from another human.
Yeah.
So they're finding someone who died or has sacrificed their own organ, and they're going to put that organ inside of your body. Let's give the kidney, for example. When they do that and they wake you up from the surgery, they then immediately prescribe to you 10 to 15 drugs for life that are called anti-rejection drugs.
Okay.
Your immune system's going to reject the organ and kill it. Why? Your immune system knows it ain't yours.
Foreign, yeah.
So it's going to go attack it. After it creates antibodies that totally destroy that organ, if you weren't on those drugs, that organ that you just received from somebody else has the DNA structure of kidneys. Guess what happens after it gets done attacking that kidney? It's going to be, those antibodies are floating around your body looking for what?
Kidneys.
Kidney cells, kidney tissue. They are going to then start attacking your kidneys, and you will develop autoimmunity of your kidneys, chronic kidney failure, and you will be on dialysis for life.
Gee.
That's insane. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I didn't fucking know that if you get like an organ transplant. All right, DM me, C Porter. But I didn't know that when you get an organ transplant that like you have to take medications for life. Who did you know that? It's kind of compelling actually, bro. It's weird. It's kind of, I mean, it makes sense, right? It definitely makes sense. Oh yeah. I got to put this back over here for another JD Vance clip, bro. JD Vance is just making the rounds. He's just making the rounds. Got to put this back here. Put it right over there. Okay. Let's just go ahead and just see what the Epstein file search on X had to say.
First of all, you don't have to look further than the fact that there's 3 to 3.5 million pages of documents that have been withheld. Another big issue, which I've kind of repeatedly talked about, is there's $1.5 billion worth of wire transactions that have been documented in what are called suspicious activity reports that have yet to be disclosed by the Treasury Department because Scott Bessent won't allow it. And so we're...
Whoa. Maybe if you just heard what he said, you're hearing this for the first time like I heard. I knew that there weren't files that were given out, right? We all know that there were millions of pages that were withheld from the public. But up until maybe recently, I didn't know that there was $1.5 billion worth of wire transactions that were red flagged that the Treasury Department won't disclose. I'm pretty sure the law states that any files regarding Jeffrey Epstein have to be released, even the financial ones, right? We need to start talking about the finances, bro. Especially when I show you what he was financing at Zorro Ranch after we watch these clips.
not able to follow the money. I think the public is reasonably and rightfully skeptical that the information has not been allowed to come out. And finally, we have, 1,000 girls who are now middle-aged women who have yet to receive a single measure of justice, despite the ghastly abuse that they suffer.
He just said 1,000 girls. Is that a good enough number for everyone who doesn't believe how crazy this fucking sex trafficking network was? At 1,000, right? If he said 100, would it hit hard as if he said 1,000? There's 1,000 women who are all middle-aged women now that are willing to testify and want to talk and want their stories out, bro, about who and what and why and how.
At the hands of Maxwell Ghislaine, and I think many, many others who may be in our midst preying on girls and women today. First of all, you don't have to look further than the fact that there's 3 to 3.
If you haven't heard this, I'm just going to put out a little nugget of information or a little rabbit hole you can go down if you're interested in this Epstein case. This Epstein case all really started as a cover-up when Pam Bondi said all the shit that she said, right? Pam Bondi then got fired. Guess what Pam Bondi's doing now? Oh, she is the ambassador from the U.S. government to sell plutonium, yeah, like the nuclear compound plutonium to private companies. Did you know that we don't want Iran to have nuclear weapons, but we're going to sell nuclear chemicals to private companies? Crazy, right?
Thomas Massey, myself, Nancy Mace. Pam Bondi, she serves at the pleasure of the president and his administration, and those there are telling her, here's who you can prosecute. No, don't do this. I mean, they told her that the Epstein files, that fight to release the Epstein files came directly from President Trump. And I know a lot of people have a hard time with that, but that is the truth. He fought the hardest to stop these files from being released. And the only reason that he signed our bill that we passed in the House was because he had to. It became a massive political problem. Biggest political miscalculation in Donald Trump's career was calling this a hoax, fighting the release of it, and having Mike Johnson, the speaker, refuse to bring the bill to the floor, to the point where Thomas Massey, myself, Nancy Mason, Lauren Boebert actually had to vote with all of the Democrats to get it. Pam Bondi, she serves at the pleasure of the president.
Well, the real question for you, this is a real question, okay, because like Marjorie Taylor Greene did just state, this is a hard truth, bro, for a lot of people to swallow. Can we just affirm, everyone in the comments, if you can see it, that Trump is, there's only one reason why Trump's fighting so much to not have these files come out, bro. And then if you're on the train of the war and the alien disclosure was all distractions to try to move the attention away from the Epstein files, you know, I just know for a fact, it just from what I've seen in web and the files and stuff, sure, there's no actual physical proof, but you know, he doesn't want to give out the rest of the files, right? We're still fighting for what the law states. They've technically broken the law by not providing the rest of the files. Technically, right? Okay, well, they broke the law, bro. So there should be only reason why you would ever break the law to prevent yourself from, you know, it makes sense that he's trying to, I mean, we're going to get them. But I would be willing to bet he's going to fight tooth and nail and do whatever he has to, even potentially some crazy catastrophe type shit to make it so no one finds out ever. Nobody finds out ever, bro. I'm telling you. You know, the New York Times thing that came out about J.D. Vance, bro. We got some clips about that, bro, about J.D. Vance in the Situation Room. But let's just listen to this one real fast. This one says that a declassified CIA document proves that they knew in the 1950s that antiparasitics can disrupt cancer growth, and they ignored it. They actually buried that for over 50 years. This critical line of cancer research was deliberately suppressed, setting real progress back for more than half a century. Millions of cancer victims have paid the ultimate price in their health and in their actual finances to try and survive what cancer does to the body. Let's just hear what he has to say. This is from Valerie Ann Smith on X, but this is from a clip from the channel Redacted on YouTube. I'm sure they have their own platform as well. But let's just hear what they got to say.
Hold on. I'm sorry. The CIA 50 years ago knew that there was evidence that taking an anti-parasitic like ivermectin could reduce tumors, and they classified it and hid it?
Correct. It was a Soviet study. These Soviet scientists found that both tumors and parasites and these anti-parasitics exerted similar mechanisms, and they found that it exerted anti-cancer activity in animals. And that study was classified by the CIA in the 50s and not declassified until 2011. So, you know, that did significantly set back some of this vital cancer research.
Hold on.
Crazy. What the fuck? I mean, if you've been on my channel for a while, I'm definitely just gonna let you know, bro. Like, you already knew that. You knew. They know exactly what's going on, and they just are only feeding us compounds that are synthetically made that all actually come from everything we ever could need for all of the ailments that we have on planet Earth literally comes from a plant. If we have enough information about all of the plant life on planet Earth, we know exactly what is necessary to heal the human body, except for the fact they don't want to give us the actual plants or tell us the actual information. We have to figure it out on our own because they would rather take the plant, turn it into a pill, and then sell it to you and never actually fix the problem, only give you a pill to mask the symptoms of the core problem so that there's more symptoms that they could give you another pill for when they never address the actual problem. Why do you think that when you go to the doctor, bro, they're not going to heal you, bro? They lose a customer, bro. You're not a patient. You know what I'm saying? You're not a patient, bro. You're a customer. Let's just hear what this has to say, bro.
She misused taxpayer money for gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab and then lied about it. Joining me now is Kentucky Congressman James Comer. He's the chairman of the House Oversight Committee. Mr. Chairman, thanks very much for being here. You led a multi-year investigation into Fauci and the origins of COVID. You've also questioned Fauci in a congressional hearing. What is your reaction to this? Would you bring him back in now for more testimony?
Well, this is more evidence of what we already knew. Dr. Fauci lied. He caused a great deal of pain for every American and most people around the world. The decisions that were made by the leadership at the time in America were based solely on what Dr. Fauci was saying, and now we know what we've always suspected, that he completely lied. He lied about funding gain-of-function research. He lied about the origins of COVID. He just continued to lie throughout the entire COVID debacle. You know, the decisions were made about the vaccines. If we had known at the time that this didn't come from a wet market, this was man-made, would that have had an impact on the type of vaccine that Americans were given that we now know probably has caused a lot of health problems as a result of the COVID vaccine? So we already did the investigation, and we already have criminal referrals sitting on the desk at the Department of Justice. The Senate did the same. The Senate Homeland Security also has criminal referrals dating back a year and a half on Dr. Fauci. We also, my committee, the Oversight Committee, did an investigation of the pardon that Joe Biden gave, all the pardons. And we concluded that Joe Biden wasn't at the table. There were no meetings with Joe Biden. The Constitution's clear. The president has sole authority to grant pardons, but there's no evidence that at the time that President Biden was even involved in the pardon process. They were signed by the autopen, but there's no evidence. And that was based on all the depositions we had with all the key people in the White House during the Biden administration. There's no evidence Joe Biden participated in the decision-making of the pardon process. So there's more than enough evidence. And what Tulsi did is outstanding. It provides even more evidence for the Department of Justice to begin taking steps to hold Dr. Fauci accountable.
Yeah, so do you think that the...
Real quick. For one, I just had like a frequency change in my ear. It's ringing really loud. But what do you think? What does accountability for Dr. Fauci look like? I mean, this one individual, bro, orchestrated allegedly. I mean, it might be allegedly. It depends on what you believe. But this one individual helped facilitate one of the most lethal, destructive viruses and vaccines on the planet. He hit you from both sides. He created the virus and then helped fund the vaccine. What do you think? Like, everyone's different. Everyone's just like, lock him in a cell. I mean, I hate to say it like this, but I think that it should be globally televised, maybe like a public execution. I mean, this one person. I mean, what happens with all war criminals? He's not a war criminal, but he killed enough people to be that way, and then he provided or at least maybe allegedly funded a vaccine that killed even more. The mRNA vaccine changes your DNA, bruh. So like, he fucking changed up the what if? Here's a connection in real time. You guys ready for this? Because we're gonna get into this weird eugenics shit up over on fucking web in just a minute. Maybe not just a minute, but later on in the stream. I just had this thought in real time, bro. What if the genetic mutation that was provided from the vaccine and the virus, right, is the correct and just the perfect, I guess, change that needs to happen for the trafficking victims to become savants easier or something, because they're like traumatizing them, trying to compartmentalize their brain to inspire neurological changes that create people who can bend spoons and shit, like with psychic abilities. You've been down. I hope I'm not just I really hope I'm not just fucking talking shit, and there's some people out there that know what I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about, you could just drop either an alien or a third eye emoji in the chat. I think I was starting to lose some people about the compartmentalization of the human psyche through trauma to create superhumans that have telepathy and telekinesis and stuff. It's called savant syndrome.
Pardon is legitimate if, in fact, it was done by the auto pen. I mean, that's the question now.
No,
because yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think it's so much the auto pen as it is the fact that there were never any meetings that Joe Biden had with his staff on these pardons. The only pardon that Joe Biden signed was for his son, Hunter Biden. But let's take the auto pen off the table. I know there's a lot about the auto pen. I don't want that to be the defense. The defense is there were never any scheduled meetings on his calendar. There was not a single person involved in the pardon process, in the decision making on who authorized the auto pen that ever met with Joe Biden and discussed the individual pardon. So there's no evidence Joe Biden had any decision making in the pardon process.
Wait, you mean to tell me that Sleepy Joe, smell your 4-year-old's hair, Biden had no idea that the pardon for Dr. Fauci even happened? All right, we can move on from this. Dr. Fauci's a war criminal. He should be publicly executed. Oh, Rokana, what's up? Rokana on the New York Times report. J.D. Vance and Pam Bondi spent months in the White House Situation Room planning a cover-up. That's not me saying it. We can listen to the representative Rokana. He'll say it for me. He's part of the government, so what he says has to be the truth, right? If we're going to believe everything the president says or what the government says, he works for the government, so we got to listen to what he says too, right?
There was a bombshell report in the New York Times that J.D. Vance and Pam Bondi were using the Situation Room for months to protect Donald Trump and orchestrate a cover-up of the Epstein files. This after Netanyahu was in the Situation Room to plan an illegal war. I'm tired of the Situation Room being used for illegal and immoral purposes. It's supposed to be there to protect the American people. The New York Times report says that Thomas Massie and my efforts to release the Epstein files has been the biggest liability to Donald Trump since he rode down the escalator. It is what has broken his coalition and soured voters on his leadership. We need to hold the Epstein class accountable, prosecute those who raped and abused underage girls, and hold J.D. Vance and Pam Bondi accountable for the illegal use of the Situation Room. There was a bombshell report in the New York.
Which one are you? Do you agree? Do you think that that is like an incorrect use of the Situation Room? You might not agree with what is being said. You might think that potentially that's all right. I just don't understand how there are like still people that can say that the Epstein story or saga is dark and twisted and satanic and pedophilic, and nobody really wants to really take a look at the people that potentially are the ones that are trying to hide it. You know, the ones that maybe helped fund. I'm not saying Trump by any means. I'm not saying any specific person, but the ones that either helped him escape the prison cell or killed him, right? Let's hear what he has to say about, oh yeah, JD Vance saying, Jared Kushner, Ivanka Trump's husband, they're buying and just like kind of taking over an island in Albania. He's saying everyone right now with like this peace deal that came out supposedly with Iran that's like supposedly been fucking ruined or something. He's saying that, there's lots of things basically saying that's like some people I listen to are saying that it's very obviously we lost the war if we're going to give Iran $300 billion to fix all of the damage that we did. We're going to give Iran the ability to, after 60 days, charge a toll for the trading on the Strait of Hormuz, which it's never been like that. We've always controlled it in a sense. And now Iran's going to control it, and they're going to be able to charge a toll. And there's just lots of other things about we're going to also unfreeze billions of dollars in unfrozen Iranian assets that will be given back to them. So it seems as if like, okay, we might have destroyed some buildings and killed some people, which I don't agree with the killing the people whatsoever. But the idea that we are the ones that started this war and then we are going to give the country we went to war with billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars, I personally can't really see how this is a victory for a war that all of the citizens probably around the world didn't want, except for Bibi Netanyahu. You know what I mean? And all the neocons that are now turning on the Trump administration. Let's hear what JD Vance has to say.
Jared Kushner actually came up with a very interesting solution with the Qataris, where basically, again, if there is any with the Qataris, where basically, again, if there is any over that process, the Qataris have approval over that process, and then the money would actually go to buy American soy, American corn, and American wheat for the benefit of the Iranian people. And as much as I see some of the press misreporting on this, and of course, buttressed by what the Iranians are saying, or not all Iranians, I want to be clear, there are a lot of Iranians who are telling the truth about what happened yesterday, but you see some social media reporting that gets this wrong.
Social media reporting gets it wrong. What about the White House not telling us the truth? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really too fond of JD Vance, and especially if you believe that MK Ultra, the program of mind control that the US government was running experiments on humans that are unwilling for a long time, that this little video that came out on Netflix about JD Vance potentially was just a psyop to make everybody just so soft-hearted about this guy. About, oh, he was like a military vet and he just loved his mama. He was a country boy. Come on. If the New York Times article about him being up inside the Situation Room is all true, bro, his little fucking facade on this circuit of like, oh, now he's on The View. Let's see what he has on The View. It's all a facade.
It sounds like you believe.
If he doesn't become president, bro, telling you right now, if he doesn't become president, MAGA's gone, bro. MAGA's not gonna move on. Majority of the country isn't very fond of what MAGA and Donald Trump is doing, bro. Sure, the oligarchs and the billionaires and the rich tech bros that are meeting up with Peter Thiel and they're all like getting lubed up and getting in the hot tub together and shit, allegedly. They don't give a shit, bro. It's done, bro. Like dead ass, I'd be willing to bet that if someone from a different party, like an independent or some other party, some other person starts running, bro, for the next president, bro, it doesn't look like it doesn't look like it's good for Republicans, bro, because I think it's just like the same old song and dance, you know. It's like Republican, Democrat, because what happens is every single time the political leader who gets elected lies repeatedly over and over again about they're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and then they don't do that and just fuck everything up while they're just like scraping off all the fucking profits and putting it in their own pocket, their own interests, this, that, and the other, and then the country gets so radically different than what they said. Then by the time it becomes an election again, they almost can guarantee based off of what is being talked about amongst us goy that they're like, oh yeah, have a great day, peace out Marie Moon. But that they're like, oh yeah, Republican, let's put all our money on Republican's gonna get voted in because Democrat really just did a doozy on the goy this time, you know what I mean? They really fucked the goy over a bunch. There's no way a Republican's getting or a Democrat's getting elected again, so we're gonna fund the Republicans. And then it just goes back and forth like this same bread and circus fake and gay political thing where it's like, oh, there's like, it's like, you know, it's all part of the same bird, bro. The right and left wing, it's all one bird. Unless you believe that the American president is the most powerful person in the government. If you believe that, then maybe you still believe in politics, but I certainly don't. See, we can't say that the internet's all bad because it's giving the ability for humans right now to wake the fuck up and see that it's literally the elite, allegedly satanic, pedophilic, child sacrificing elite that are running the world. You know what I'm saying? Let's hear what JD Vance has to say on The View. And then we're going to get into Webb and Zorro Ranch.
That there would be men in the files who would be held accountable. Rightfully so. And the American people are with you on this. Why haven't we seen the release of over 2.5 million additional Epstein file documents? It seems like you are someone that is on the right side of history on this.
So we've released, I think it's 6 million files or 6 million pages of documents. My understanding is that 2.5 million, Sonny, I'm going to check on this to make sure, but my understanding is that a lot of those are duplicates of things that have already been released.
So
We're not holding anything back. Some of those things are like the courts have to order you to release them. So that was one thing that we confronted. You talk about these situation room meetings is, you know, there's a big bunch of files that existed, I think in the Southern District of New York, or maybe it was some other jurisdiction, but we were like, we want to release these files, but you need the court approval in order to release the files. Sometimes we would apply to release the files and the courts would say no. So those particular documents, I would need to actually like know exactly what you're talking about.
3.5 million documents were released, and my understanding is 2.5 million have not been released.
Those may have been the ones that are under court. So I don't know what the documents you're talking about, but I'm telling you,
let me go to break.
Sure.
Let me go to break.
You notice how it's like, let me go to break, right when he starts getting tripped up on his words and shit. That's crazy. If I can't provide confirmation this is real, but it's pretty crazy to see Jared Kushner and the Prime Minister of Qatar all looking at a U.S. government laptop while there's an ID card put into the laptop logged in that isn't even, it's like some girl or something on there. It's kind of insane. Are you guys ready to get into this web dive, bro? This web dive about Zorro Ranch, homie. Let me put you on game, bro. Oh, it's because, oh, so do I have. Do I have it right here, bro? Do I have it right here, bro? See this big ass web? We're going to just move just right over here. We're going to start an old Zorro Ranch web right here, okay? With these documents. Are you ready? I am going to record this. It does kind of look like Larry Loomer. You're right. That's crazy. It does actually seem even quite more insane, if I'm being honest with you. that yeah, it's just insane. You think she actually has a freaking card like that to get into one of those freaking laptops? Probably, huh? What's up, guys? How are you guys doing today? You guys ready to get down into this Zorro Ranch? Zorro Ranch, bro. This is where shit gets insane, bro. This is where shit gets insane, homie. Before we get in here, can I just get everybody to hit like buttons, emote in the comments, share the live? Because this shit is about to get insane. The compound in the high desert of New Mexico. All right, I'm going to push record because I'm going to post this later on YouTube. So if you can't make it through the whole thing, make sure you go to you're on YouTube and you go check it out. This though, I'm going to overlay documents and make it visually aesthetic as well because I'm going to be adding these documents, but I appreciate you, Scruffmeister. That means the world to me. I appreciate your kind words. She says, Trevor, it's hard for me, so upsetting, but you have been best creator to face it head on. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Let's check this out, bro. Clapping, because you know when you clap, you change the vibration and you let the universe know that you're here. You change the vibration in the electromagnetic field and the frequencies around you, and it lets the energy around you know that you're present, that someone who makes waves is present, trying to hone in some inner human energy to really just give you the best, bruh. Give you the best little fucking deep dive I can right here using web. Here we go. I'm nervous, dude. I'm nervous, bro. Just kidding. Because I'm going to record it. Here we go. I know all of you have heard of Zorro Ranch. You know, the place in New Mexico that's connected to Jeffrey Epstein. And for some reason, it's the only place that was never raided and there was never really any investigation into it. So I decided to make a video. I'm live right now on Twitch and YouTube, but I decided to make a video for you, the person who might be watching later. So let's talk about the compound that's in the high desert of New Mexico. 33,000 square feet of stucco, terracotta, and thermal mass sitting on a patch of the high desert outside of Stanley, New Mexico. Zorro Ranch doesn't look like much from the road, but an aerial view in a photograph in the indictment documents shows a compound of a low-slung buildings arranged around a central courtyard. A tennis court carved into the scrub, dirt paths leading nowhere in particular. It's kind of a place, it's the kind of place that a billionaire builds when he wants to be off the grid. Far enough from Santa Fe to be alone, but close enough to fly minor girls in. And that's exactly what happened. A tipster who worked for the ranch told the FBI that the foreman, David Gonzalez, who openly discussed how Epstein would fly girls in from Phoenix and Las Vegas to entertain his parties. Her brother, who lived on the same highway, said people would stay at the ranch for roughly 1 month at a time, then return every 3 to 4 months. That's not casual visitation, bro. That's like a rigid schedule, a system, a rotation. New Mexico Attorney General Hector Balderas saw it in the same way. In a July 8, 2020 letter to federal prosecutors, he formally requested asset forfeiture of the property, stating that stating that the state had provided investigative evidence regarding Jeffrey Epstein's use of the Zorro Ranch to facilitate the commission and the prolonged concealment of his trafficking of children. Not was used to facilitate and commission the prolonged concealment. That's in present tense, player. Like an active structure, a space built for a purpose and then hidden behind. Now, this is where it gets crazy, bro. If you're still here, can you just spam the chat with whatever you feel compelled to spam it with? Because the scientists, they knew about it, bro. But the trafficking, as grotesque as it was only half of what the ranch was meant to be. On multiple occasions, starting in the early 2000s, Epstein told scientists and businessmen about his ambitions to use the New Mexico ranch as a base where women would become inseminated with his sperm to give birth to his babies. According to two award-winning scientists and an advisor to large companies and wealthy individuals, all of whom Epstein told directly, it was not a secret. One of the scientists said Epstein divulged the idea in 2001 at a dinner at his Manhattan townhouse. The other recalled Epstein discussing it at a 2006 conference he hosted in St. Thomas, the same conference where Stephen Hawking and Caltech theoretical physicist Kip S. Thorne were in attendance. The conference was ostentatiously about gravity. Epstein wanted to talk about perfecting the human genome. Dang, bro. The human genome, dude? Fuck, dude. What's this document? All right. The advisor in the group said he learned about the plan not just from Epstein, but from at least one prominent member of the business community who independently confirmed it. So this wasn't a private fantasy whispered to trusted confidants. It was a dinner party talking point, a man openly telling the most powerful people in the room that he intended to build a human breeding operation in the New Mexico desert and seed the next generation with his DNA. What the fuck, bro? I'm showing you the documents that are in the Epstein files, player. How else are we supposed to get real evidence about any of this except if we don't have a platform like Web to help us compile all applicable information? Imagine if you had to go onto the justice.gov website and click and look through every PDF that was there applicable to whatever topic. Web's goated, bro. I just had to give a little chat prompt like I would a chat bot. It's not a chat bot. It doesn't hallucinate. It only takes information from the applicable data sets that I upload into Web, which for this specific Web, I have the 9/11 FIOA files, the FBI vault, and Jeffrey Epstein, bro. Thank you. Kevin is a human. Ian Carroll. Shout out Ian Carroll. Shout out Kevin is a human. But let's get into where the sperm bank that came before the island. Oh, did you know about a sperm bank before that came before? John Lanier, the virtual reality pioneer who Epstein cultivated as a dinner companion, told investigators a chilling detail. At one of Epstein's Upper East Side mansion dinners, he spoke to a scientist who identified herself as working at NASA. What the fuck? She told Lanier that Epstein's goal was to have 20 women at a time impregnated at Zorro Ranch, and that Epstein had based his vision on repository for germinal choice. The repository for germinal choice was a real thing. A sperm bank founded in 1980 by California eugenist Robert Clark Graham, who made his fortune inventing shatterproof eyeglass lenses. Graham's idea was to stock his bank exclusively with sperm from Nobel laureates and other geniuses to strengthen the human gene pool. It opened for nearly 2 decades before quietly shutting down in 1999. Epstein picked Epstein wanted to pick up where it left off, but instead of distributing sperm to families, he wanted to centralize the entire operation at his his New Mexico ranch with himself as the sole donor. That's fucking gross. Oh my gosh, bro, this shit gets crazy, right? Lanier got the impression that Epstein was using his dinner parties, where some guests were attractive women with impressive academic credentials, to screen candidates to bear his children. What in the fuck? Okay. June 1st, 2011, an email from Epstein's accountant is a master document sent to a recipient whose name is redacted. The subject line reads simply, where's it at? Will you be in LA then? Below is a list of names that Epstein addressed in the TO field. Paul Allen, Jeff Bezos, Stuart Brand, Sergey Brin, David Brooks, George Church, George Dyson, Ari Emanuel, Tony Fidel, Bill Gates, W. Daniel Hills, Bill Joy, Daniel Kahneman, Solar Kamenagar, Dean Kamen, Elon Musk, Nathaniel Mervovid, Pierre Almendrar, Tim O'Reilly, Larry Page, Sean Parker, Jean Pagozzi, Ricardo Salinas Pelagio, Nicholas Pritzker, Jacqui Safari, Charles Samoni, Jeff Skoll, Ace Treisman, Craig Venter, William Wales, Evan Williams, Mark Zuckerberg. Shit, boy. Dang, all these people's names in this email. Weird. Elon Musk showed up again, bro. The Who's Line lists 4 scientists: Michael Gazzaniga, Martin Nowak, Steven Pinker, and Vladimir S. Rakhamadan as the featured guests at a Napa Valley event. That's not a dinner party. That's a board meeting of the technocratic elite, and Epstein was at the center of it, CCing himself to his own email, orchestrating access between the wealthiest men on Earth and some of the most influential minds in neuroscience and evolutionary biology. The people to see list from the 2014 September document, dedicated by Epstein to his assistant Leslie Groff, is equally dense. Bill Gates, Larry Summers, Leon Black, Mort Zuckerman, Peter Thiel, Bob Carey, plus financiers like Icahn or Carl Icahn or Boris. And we know from the other filings that Bill Clinton was on the plane. The indictment lists Clinton alongside Stephen Hawking and Al Gore as individuals Virginia Giuffre was asked about in discovery. And Epstein's pilot, Larry Vyosky, testified that Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, John Green all flew on Epstein's Gulfstream. The Prince and the Harem. Prince Andrew has the deepest documented connection beyond the guest list. The Oversight Committee files trace a relationship back to the 1990s where Ghislaine Maxwell introduced the prince to her then boyfriend Epstein, and in 2000 Epstein was invited to Windsor Castle for the Queen's birthday. 6 months later, he flew to Sandringham, the Queen's private estate in Norfolk. A party Prince Andrew threw for Ghislaine's 39th birthday. Dang, Prince Andrew threw a party for Ghislaine's birthday, bro. Virginia Giuffre alleged in her 2015 declaration that Epstein asked her to give Prince Andrew whatever he required and report back with the details. A December 2010 dinner at Epstein's Manhattan townhouse included Prince Andrew, Woody Allen, Katie Couric, George Stephanopoulos, Charlie Rose, and Chelsea Handler, according to a page 6 item that Epstein himself emailed his publicist, Peggy Segal, with the note, "Not good for Andrew, not good for me, not good for you." He knew the optics were radioactive and he emailed about them anyways. We're here, debt heavy and deep. What's up, guys? Who's here? Who we got over here? We got 7 people on YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Let's see. We got freaking 8 people up here on Twitch. What's up, Twitch? I love all of you. 3 people up over here on Facebook. Of course, Facebook's not wanting to push this. We know. All right. The cryonics in the head. This is the part where it reads like bad science fiction, except Epstein was funding research into it. On September 16th, 2009, Epstein emailed a link to Eva Dublin, wife of Glenn Dublin, the hedge fund billionaire and close Epstein associate, with nothing but a URL, www.alcor.org. Alcor is the world's leading cryonics organization, the company that freezes dead bodies in liquid nitrogen, hoping future technology can revive them. Epstein's interest wasn't passive. One adherent of transhumanism told investigators that Epstein discussed his desire to have his head and his penis frozen after death. He was obsessed with perpetuating his own DNA. Weird. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck, dude? In 2011, Epstein emailed his scientific advisor, Barnaby Marsh, with a list of project ideas that included building a mind reader using de-encryption and new understandings of the brain, a project on tissue regeneration or cloning, capitalization his, and including the New York Academy of Science. This is not a dissonant playing with ideas. This is a systematic agenda, bro. Mind reading, cloning, cryogenics, and a breeding program, all pursued simultaneously with the financial backing to make scientists listen. And then we got to talk about the possibility of a pipeline through MIT. Perhaps the most insidious thread comes from the congressional oversight email buried in the DOJ disclosures. The author writes about Epstein's connection to the MIT Media Lab and Little Bits engineering kits, electronics building blocks targeting at preteen girls, and expresses concern any data about usage or users of the kits might have been acquired by Epstein and ETAI in his efforts to screen potential members to join his herd at the ranch. The word is herd, not guests, not candidates. Herd. The same email mentions James Damore and Kevin Cernicki, the Google engineers who circulated the infamous memo about biological differences between men and women, as agent provocateurs who infiltrated Google and who were linked to promoting the Pizzagate narrative. The connections are tangled, deliberately obfuscated, but the direction is clear. Epstein used his money and institutional access to seed his recruitment pipeline as early as preteen years through educational technology, through MIT's most prestigious lab, through programs that looked like charity but functioned as data collections. What the ranch actually was. Okay, so pull back and look at the whole picture, bro. Zorro Ranch wasn't just a hideaway for wealthy men to abuse children. It was a 33,000 square foot laboratory for a specific vision, a place where, in Epstein's mind, 3 things would converge. A trafficking compound where girls were flown in from Phoenix and Las Vegas, kept for month-long stays on quarterly rotations under the management of a foreman who knew exactly what was happening on land the state of New Mexico explicitly identified as used for commission and prolonged concealment of child trafficking. A eugenics breeding facility, the site where Epstein told Nobel laureates, tech billionaires, and NASA scientists he intended to pregnate up to 20 women at a time with his own sperm, modeled on a defunct Nobel sperm bank, screening candidates at his dinner parties from among attractive women with impressive academic credentials. The headquarters of a transhumanist agenda, where he'd bankroll mind-reading technology, tissue regeneration through cloning, and cryptic preservation of his own body parts, all while telling everyone who'd listen that he wanted to live for 1,000 years and seed the next iteration of the human species with his own genetic code. The most disturbing part of this whole file isn't any single document. It's the mundane the mundane normalcy of all of it. Emails about stucco repair and cooling tower replacements sit next to emails about building a mind reader and links to cryogenic labs. Dinner invitations to the world's most powerful people sit next to lists of people to see that read like who's in global finance. The recruitment of 14-year-old girls at Mar-a-Lago sits next to the impregnation plan discussed with Stephen Hawking's conference attendees. Can we not see, bruh? It was all part of the same project, bro. The trafficking wasn't a side hobby that coexisted with science, bro. The trafficking seems to me that it was a recruitment pipeline. The herd was a single concept applied across an age group, and the ranch is where all of it supposedly came together, dude. The document trail shows a constellation of figures who orbited this project, whether they knew its full scope or not. Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Stephen Hawking, Steven Pinker, Lawrence Krauss, Martin Nowak, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, Bill Gates, Peter Thiel, Tom Barack, Steve Tisch, Tom Pritzker, Barnaby Marsh, the MIT Media Lab, Leon Black, Mort Zuckerman, Carl Icahn, Leslie Wexner, and then there are the ones whose names are redacted, bro. The black bars that run through hundreds of pages like a censor stamp of shame. What about the New Mexico contacts though, like Governor Richardson, who is the sheriff, and local politicians, or the religious people, or the House staff, or the security 547 entry on the cryptic handwritten list? Here we go. Continues on. Epstein's interest in Alcor, you know, the link he sent to that individual, it wasn't casual, bro. He sent that link to Eva Dublin, wife of Glenn Dubin, the hedge fund billionaire who was one of Epstein's oldest and closest friends, the man who helped manage his money during the 2008 plea deal. If Epstein was serious about cryogenics, he would have had the resources. Alcor currently charges $80,000 for neuropreservation. That's just your head. Whole body preservation is $200,000. Epstein could have afforded both of those many times over. The Alcor connection points to a man who genuinely believed he wouldn't stay dead, that his head and penis would one day be reanimated in the future, where his DNA, his superior genetic material, would continue its work. This is deep. And that brings it back to the ranch, bro. If you believe in cryogenics, if you believe you'll wake up in 200 years, then you would need a plan for what happens when you do. You would need a place. You would need heirs. You would need a herd. And Zorro Ranch wasn't just a crime scene, bro. It was the seed vault for a post-humanist dynasty. So what's missing from the documents is telling as what's there. The ranch's foreman, David Gonzalez, is described as now deceased in a tipster report. But there's no autopsy, no cause of death, no timeline. The tipster's brother, also witnessed, is deceased too. Two people who knew about the girls flown in from Phoenix both died by the time the FBI asked questions. A 2001 dinner where Epstein first pitched the baby plan, the attendee list is not in the files. The 2006 St. Thomas conference where he pitched it again, the full guest list is not in the files. The NASA scientist who told Jaron Lanier, the 20-year-old woman at the time, detail, she's not in the files. And the redactions, bro. Hundreds of pages of people's whose names remain behind black bars, bro. Please comment if you're still here. Release the files. Because their connections to Epstein are only known to the FBI and the DOJ. Some of those names almost certainly appear somewhere else in the document set. And some of them are almost always going to certainly be alive. Do you ever think we're going to get justice, bro? Do you think the American government is going to arrest anybody? Do you think that Donald Trump's going to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell? I don't know, bro. I have 4 children, bro, so this thing really freaking just hits home for me, bro. I want to protect my children. And it seems to me in today's day and age, there's 2 things. Brainwashing, MK Ultra through screens and algorithms, I need to protect my children from. And then it's obvious that there's some really sick and satanic pedophiles that are worth a whole bunch of money that seem to be cultivating in these circles, bro. I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to learn as much as I possibly could about Zorro Ranch. I wanted to help you possibly learn about Zorro Ranch. I pay for a tool provided by Ian Carroll and Kevin is a Human called Web that allows me to learn about Zorro Ranch, and I just felt like I should share this with you. I love you guys. Peace out. I'm not really leaving, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was just recording that video for later, bro. I was just recording that video for later. What's good? How are y'all doing? What's goody in the hoodie? What's the craziest thing about Zorro Ranch that you heard from when I said that, bro? Can you just give me a little insights and some things I said that maybe you didn't know? Just breathe. You know, it's that gets kind of heavy and crazy, right? To seed the next generation with his DNA, to cryogenically freeze his body parts. Like, what the fuck, dude? 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 All right. You guys ready to get back into, let's see here, an hour and a half? Let me go potty real fast. Let me run upstairs, get something to drink, check on my little kids. I'll be right back. Okay. Are you guys still going to be here, bro? You'll still be here? Thank you, everyone, for being here, bro. Let's just watch Zach Loft, Zachary Faust show. Let's give him some time to speak.
The Zach Faust show today. We have a lot to talk about in terms of Iran and Epstein.
Trump has just threatened to murder all of the Iranian peace negotiators.
To the Iranians, saying they will close the Strait of Hormuz in response to Israeli strikes against Hezbollah in Lebanon. President Trump tells Fox News he spoke with Iranian officials overnight and said, you close it and you won't have a country. He went on to tell these officials, you won't even make it back to your effing country.
And you really have to wonder if this is the reason why. Take a listen.
There's a real deal between the Americans and the Iranians, and it's going towards that. Netanyahu will try to sabotage it. One of the ways he'd sabotage it is by putting out Epstein material against U.S. government officials, including Trump. New material that wasn't seen before.
And that's James Lee, everybody. If you don't follow James Lee, highly suggest following James Lee. That's my boy. And he brings up an interesting point that could get wrapped in a lot of tinfoil if you'd like for it to be. that Trump is in a position right now where he has to pick between Iran or Epstein. He has to pick between, supposedly, we're putting on the full suit of God today, the full armor of God. It's completely made out of tinfoil. Okay, I'm in the full suit today. Could Trump be in a position right now where he is positioned in the catch-22 of either supporting the overthrowing of the regime of Iran for the purpose of future land expansion, which we are seeing right now. The moment Iran began, Israel said, cool, Lebanon. Okay, immediately, let's go after the Iranian-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon, which, by the way, we'll get more into. I won't go any deeper right now. Or risk more Epstein exposure. Now, is that real? Do we think that's real? Do we think that's real? Comment, do you think that's real? Just right off top. Let's get off on the right foot. Do you think that's real? Do you think it's real that Trump might be in a position right now where he's stuck between either supporting the needs and the demands and the commands that come from the Israeli government and its head, Bibi Netanyahu, going and doing what he says, doing what they want, and if we don't, well, then there's going to be compromising information that comes out about Epstein that could link to his cabinet members, business leaders, we don't know, or maybe even himself. If you're familiar with the show, we have an opening jingle that gets played. You know my position on that. But do we think that's real? I think it's worth consideration. Because what else can we draw as the conclusion as to why we put ourselves in this position? What else can we draw as the conclusion for why we have put our country, our military, our dollars, our media attention in this kerfluffle in Iran? Which, by the way, if you're unfamiliar with what's going on right now, let me give you a quick summarization in under a minute. The Strait was open as of last week. On Thursday, we started to see traffic move through the Strait of Hormuz. I got my notes. We had 26 vessels, including tankers, make their way through on Thursday. Friday, 55 tankers. Saturday then saw the largest number we have seen since February.
What's up, dude? What's up, dude? Oh, man. How are y'all doing today? What's going down? What's going down in the Lavadio, in the hood? You know what I'm saying? Oh, Gruß Fraba. Okay, let's get back into this video. We're about almost 2 hours in, bro. We got a little good one going today. Don't you see? Do you see? Who's here? If you're here, say what's up. Let me get a little head count. I kind of just went on a rant during that little Epstein episode right there about Zorro Ranch. And I feel like I wasn't really communicating with the chat. I'm just trying to get a head count of who's here currently. If you're seeing this later, you could just, only if you're seeing this later, so I can kind of get a head count of how long people are watching my stuff, you could just put, I'm here later. You know what I mean? What's up, Jupiter? What's up, dude? What's up, Meg? What's up, One Eternity? Brits in the house, motherfucking Menace, Scruffmeister, Julia's up in here. Hell yeah. Let's get back into this Khazarian Mafia. But if we're going to do that, we kind of got to go back a little before this homie starts talking so you guys can just get full context. You know what I'm saying? Full context of what he's saying. Even if you missed what happened prior, you know what I'm saying? We want to give you the chance to hear, homie.
Was known and worshipped time to be earth.
The more you begin to see we've been lied to. We've been lied to by every institution. What makes you think for 1 minute that the religious institution is the only one that's never been touched? You can bet your bottom dollar that the religious institutions of this world are at the bottom of the dirt. The religious institutions in this world are put there by the same people who gave you your government, your corrupt education. The Knights Templars who set up your international banking cartels in the 12th, 13th, and 14th century are the same people that gave you educational institutions, colleges. Where do we get the word college? College comes from the collegia, the Latin Roman college of cardinals. I could go on for hours just give you examples. I mean, when you graduate, you come out with a square mortarboard, a black square mortarboard. What's all that about? Black square mortarboards. It has to do with the planet Saturn. Saturn, we're told that in the Old Testament that the Hebrew people, the Jewish people, were worshipers of one God. That's never been true, not true now, and never will be true. That's just one more story that's been given to us. It's never been true. The Hebrew people were worshipers of many gods, many different divine beings. They were the most eclectic theology on the face of the earth. Next to modern day Christianity is Judaism. Eclectic meaning it has collected from all over the world concepts and ideas and put it together and called it today Judaism. Judaism today is the most eclectic religion on the face of the earth. Virtually nothing of what it teaches is true. Virtually nothing of its supposedly background is true. And consequently, the world is filled with violence, bloodshed, disorder. Good people are dying. There are children who are starving. Our world is in trouble. And people are calling out to God for protection. People are calling out to God to help our nation.
Let me just... All right, guys, I got to ask you a question. If you're here right now, bro, when was it that you started to wake up? When was it that you just started to look at your life and the world and the things that are happening around the world? When was that time? What was the event that really just sparked your awakening to start asking more questions, to start paying attention? Just like Pretty Ricky. What's up, girl? Pretty Ricky, she said her entire life. The thing that's inevitably a truth, bro, you have to come to this, is not everyone has been awake their whole life. You have to have a little bit more compassion for people's capacity to understand these complex rabbit holes and truths and identity-shattering narratives. Because someone might have just woken up yesterday. Someone yesterday or 20 minutes ago or 3 years ago or their whole life or still asleep. You know what I'm saying? Nothing I have. This is everything I say is just my opinion, bro. That's why I like to keep the learning aspect of our stream at the end, because not everything I hear coming from everything that we do at the end of the streams where we watch these documentary type stuffs, not everything do I take to heart. I just build on the information that I already have and look for counter arguments to try and change what I already believe so I can find the truth, because the truth isn't just the things that you believe all the time. Sometimes you find truth in a counter argument or some evidence that contradicts something you believe to help you evolve and grow. Can I get an amen? Amen, motherfucker.
And never realizing for one moment that the divine presence in the universe, not listening. Why? Because you have your own concepts of whatever you think is true, whatever you believe to be true, but you have never confronted the real truth. The real truth is that the people who are in power, who put this system together, have been in power for thousands of years. This has been going on from day one. All of the things which are going on in this world today, from 9/11, all of the wars in the Middle East, all of the incredible bloodshed that's being spilled all over the earth can be traced back to, and you might want to remember what I'm saying here, because I'm sure you're not going to make the connection when I first tell you, but I'm going to try to explain it to you. The things which are happening today, the people who are in power in this country, the great generals from around the world who are planning wars and violence and bloodshed, all of this stuff can be traced back to the planet Saturn. Saturn is a very, very pivotal, important concept in theology and religion. And most people have never been told any of this and have no knowledge of it at all. But the planet Saturn is very important in world affairs, in theology. In the Islamic belief, the holy city of Mecca, which is in Saudi Arabia, Mecca has a Masonic circle, and within the Masonic circle is a square, because you got to do everything.
Just a sec. Trying to get a little clip. Trying to get a little clip to put on my story.
I remember. You have a town square. You have New York Square. You have Vatican Square. You have Red Square. You have all kinds of squares. Why? Because this is Masonic. And it goes all the way back into the ancient world, the terms and symbols. Again, the planet is called the Black Square. It's called the Dark Sun, the Black Sun. This is what the Nazis and the SS and the Gestapo wore black. That's why priests wear black. That's why judges wear black robes. Why do you think a judge wears a black robe? He wears a black robe because when you used to graduate from university, you wear a black robe. Why black robes? Darth Vader wears a black robe. What the hell does a black robe have to do with anything? The judges wear black robes. You know, Supreme Court judges wear black robes. Black robes represent the priesthood of the planet Saturn, the Saturnalian Brotherhood. All you need to do is study Nazism, and you will begin to see that the powers behind the Nazi Party, the Thule Society, the Germanian Order, were all members of something called the Saturnalian Brotherhood, the Brotherhood of Saturn. Saturn was the god of darkness, chaos, and destruction. He teaches you a lesson. He will take your life if you don't listen to him. So consequently, Saturn was very, very important in the ancient world. Thank you. Saturn's name, incidentally, in the old Phoenician ancient Canaanite religion, in the Middle East, the old Phoenician Canaanite worship of the planet Saturn was the most important god of all the ancient world, was the planet Saturn, and his symbol, long before the Hebrews were ever in Canaan, the symbol in Canaan for the planet Saturn was a six-pointed star. Today we call that star the Star of David. There was no Star of David. It's the Star of Saturn. All of the Jewish reference books, all the Encyclopedia Judaica, you go to the synagogue, go up to Mulholland Drive, up to the Jewish University and spend 3 weeks there and look up Saturn. You'll find out that 98% of all Judaism is a worship of the planet Saturn. Better wake up and understand where this stuff comes from. Because if there is a God in heaven, if there is a divine presence in the universe that demands righteousness and justice, then you're going to have to rethink what we believe and where we're going and what the world is all about, because for the last 2,000 years we haven't done too well. Saturn was referred to as El, E-L. El was the god Saturn in the old Phoenician Canaanite system. And consequently, anyone that promoted the worship of El is where we get the word elder. You become an elder because you are worshiping El. And when you worship El and become an elder, then how did you get to be an elder? You got elected. So therefore we have elections. Now that you have been elected to be an elder, now you are one of the elites. Why? Because now you have moved up like in an elevator. You are now moved up in society. Consequently, it's all money. It's all manipulation and exploitation coming out of Phoenicia, Canaan. It goes back to the old Sumerian, Babylonian systems of words and terms and symbols and emblems that have been used to manipulate the whole human race. Because our masters don't give a damn about you or your family or your destiny with God. All they care about is what they have always cared about, and that's controlling the whole damn world.
So there's the black sun on the left. There's the hexagram. There's the hexagon on top of Saturn. And then we have Cronus. What I'm emphasizing here, what I'm trying to show you is, these are all the same thing. They all represent Lucifer. They are all symbols for and of Lucifer. That's why they use them. That's why they use this symbology in their worship. It's because they represent, these symbols represent a deeper underlying knowledge. Now look where I found the black sun. I did a search for the black sun, which means Lucifer and Satan. Look where I found it here in the Hall of SS Generals in, I think that's Wewelsburg Castle, Germany. Look, it's right there on the floor. It's in the Azov Battalion patch, their rank. And look, they're holding a flag. There's the black sun, the symbol of Nazism there in the middle. The communism is Satanism. Get it? These are not groups, organizations of people that have your best interest in mind, that have the human interest in mind. They are not interested in your betterment. They're interested in controlling you. They're interested in controlling the power, the planet, having all the power.
Okay, so regardless of whether you believe everything he's saying or none of it or part of it, we can all just acknowledge that there does seem to be a group of people that control and have all of the power that don't seem to have our best interests, right? They don't care about our health, or if they did care about our health, they wouldn't put poison in our food, water, and air. I'm just saying, bro. Regardless of whether some of these symbols you might see in these videos mean something to you or they don't. It's for you to decide. I can't say that this is something that you have to believe or that you should believe. I'm just heard the word Khazarian Mafia multiple times, and I don't have a whole bunch of information about it. So I found someone that was talking about it, and I'm just learning along with you, bro. So just know that, like I said, you don't have to take everything to heart, but you have to be able to be at least a little bit open-minded to look at the information that's available and at least process it and adapt, correct?
That's why these are militant groups. They're not there to have a dialogue with you. They're there for you to do as you're told, and if you don't do as you're told, you're either killed or imprisoned. Period. You see, these are anti-human groups. This is an anti-human religion. That's why it centers on cannibalism. It is anti-human. This mafia, this is their religion. The Khazarian Mafia's religion is Saturnalia, is ancient Saturn worship, worship of the black sun. This is where it gets even heavier. Saturn equals Satan equals the black cube. Satan and the black cube of Saturn. One of the most mysterious symbols in our culture today is the black cube of Saturn. Saturn is not only the hexagram, it is also the cube. Here's why. The black cube is a representation of the planet's north pole, meaning Saturn's north pole, which forms a perfect hexagon with the diameter of each of its 6 sides being very close to the projected diameter of the Earth. The cube is a 3-dimensional representation of the 2-dimensional hexagonal north pole of Saturn. That's why they're related. Look here, from Fritz Springmeier. This is the gentleman that wrote that book, The Illuminati, The Blood of the Illuminati, or that book that talked about the Illuminati. This is the same guy, former FBI, CIA. Saturn is an important key to understanding the long heritage this conspiracy has back to antiquity. The city of Rome was originally known as Saturnia, or City of Saturn. The Roman Catholic Church retains much of the Saturn worship in its ritual. Who gave us the Bible? The Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church retains much of the Saturn worship in its ritual. Human sacrifice? Is there a human sacrifice at the center of Western religion? Saturn also...
Dang, bro. Did he just... Dude, he just made the connection to potentially that Jesus was a human sacrifice to Saturn, bro. What the fuck? That's crazy.
Also relates to Lucifer. In various occult dictionaries, Saturn is associated with evil. Look where else there are black cubes. Australia, Denmark, Manhattan, Santa Ana. Oh, and look, guess what also is a black cube? The Kaaba. That's in Mecca. And look at the rings that form around the Kaaba. These folks don't even realize who they're worshiping. That cube literally represents Satan. The cube, when flattened out, becomes a Christian cross. In Judaism, the six-pointed Star of David represents Satan and originates from Saturn. Orthodox Jews wear the black cube of Saturn on their forehead, like the third eye, and call it tefillin. I don't know how to pronounce that. Look how the cube, when you unfold it, it forms a perfect cross. And then we see here, look what's on this dude's head. The black cube. And what does this tell you? Satan is Saturn, is represented in the hexagram, is in the black sun, is the black cube, is the cross. The black cube in Mecca in the occult is called the hypercube. It represents mind control. That's why the TV is black and cube shaped. The graduation hat is a black cube, etc. It's all mind control. When Muslims walk around the Kaaba in rings, it is a representation of Saturn's rings. Saturn equals Satanism. That is what you're giving your energy to. Same with Christianity. The cross, when folded up, folds into a cube. More mind control. Same with all the other religions, all based in Satanism and created by the dark occult. I'll never forget when I heard, Mark Passio. When I heard Mark Passio claim, I'll never forget this, when he claimed that all of Western religion was invented by the Order of the Black Snake. And I remember hearing him say that and thinking, there's no way. There's no way that's true. And what you begin to find out when you begin to study this stuff and you begin to hear guys like, Jordan Maxwell, and you begin to hear the information they have to tell you. Speaking of which, I'll just go to the next slide. You begin to understand that you've been deceived. You've been deceived because...
Can I just say, dude, while we're watching this, bro, I can't necessarily ever, I'm going to listen to my intuition, right? But I like the content creators that provide sources, bro. I like content creators that provide sources. I think that's the best way for everyone to learn. You know what I'm saying? I think that it just makes it easier for people to digest. You know, sure, not everybody's the type of person to go check that source, but a lot of people are, bro. You can also just not necessarily feel the truth by words. You can also feel it by frequency. So it's up to you to really decide what's true and what's not. I can't tell you what is true and what's not. I don't fucking know what's going on. I'm trying to figure it all out myself, bro. That's why I'm here. That's why we come together to talk about this shit, because I don't fucking know, bro. I grew up in a culture in Utah where everybody was brainwashed by the Mormon church, dude. So I don't really know what to believe, bro.
This group claimed God. And they claimed they had exclusive access to God. And you had to follow their symbols and rituals to know this God. That's mind control. And it was one of the most difficult characteristics of my life I've ever had to accept, and that is that I have been captured. I've been captured with mind control. And I've been captured with these symbols.
Can we just all, can we all right now just take spiritual accountability and just hold yourself accountable as a human on planet Earth? That at one point there's probably been something that you got psyoped into. Like, when I was a kid, bro, 9/11 happened when I was 12. I didn't know anything on how crazy and deep the rabbit hole goes into 9/11 until I was an adult, bro. I'm sure most of America really didn't, you know. There was those few people who were talking about it. But for the most part, they pretty much controlled the narrative of all stories and really had control over what people believed until social media, bro. At least that's what I believe. Maybe you don't believe that.
I've been captured with these meanings and these traditions and these edicts that, you know, when you're born, you're this way, and you have to do these things to find resolution, and you're apart from God, and you're separated, and all this kind of stuff. Was coming to realize that all of these things were just simply means to control me and keep me from thinking for myself and keep me from being a free man. And that's exactly what the Khazarian Mafia wants. And it's the reason why I show you this stuff, is so that not only it conquers your fear, but it educates you, and it also tells you this is why it's the way that it is. This is why there's a 6-pointed star. It has nothing to do with David. It has everything to do with Satanism. It's a sign of the 666. And people just don't know this. They just simply, they've been brainwashed with other ideas to cover over what's actually happening. And again, this goes back to that same theme that I talked about at the beginning of the essay. This group hides in abject secrecy. They do not want to be known. And so they bury themselves in symbolism and then tell you false meanings of those symbols. Give you false ideas about yourself in your head, so you'll not only never know anything about yourself or the world, but you'll never catch them. And when I come to you on a day like today and I show this kind of stuff to you, it's so outlandish to many of you that you're like, there's no way. There's no way. This guy's nuts. And that's...
It says if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. Can you just sit with me right now and resonate with how much that applies to like politics and like mainstream news? You know what I'm saying? That's really that's one of their like freaking core values of the corporations and the identities. It's like if you tell a lie big enough, if you just keep repeating it over and over again, over and over and over and over again, people will eventually come to believe it. We gotta wake up, boy. We gotta wake the fuck up, boy. Wake the fuck up, boy.
Way. There's no way. This guy's nuts. And that is black magic defined. Continuing on, from the cult of Saturn, notice on our little handy dandy map here from our friend Dylan Monroe, look how we have the Knights Templar there, right below Rome, and Baphomet. Did you know that the Knights Templar secretly worshipped Baphomet? Who's Baphomet, Chuck? This is Baphomet. There is all kinds of symbolism in this figure. First of all, it's a goat. That's an ancient, the goat is an ancient Egyptian god, Mendes, who actually is a representation of what? A black snake. And speaking of snakes, look at the snakes on its belly, the Baphomet's belly. Look at the scales on the belly and around the snakes. Look at the scales below the wings or along the wing edges. Okay, this is signifying the black snake. And then we notice that the snakes are crossing 3 times, once at their tail, once in the middle, and then once at the head. And the heads are what? They're looking at that circle at the top, which is the earth. Interestingly, look at this here. Here you see the Pope Isn't it interesting? He has those same snakes. And they cross 3 times, and the snakes represent, obviously, Leviathan. And they are watching over that circle, which is the earth. And then look what's at the top of the scepter of the Pope, which is a cross. What does that say? The church rules the world. The church sits over the world as Lucifer watches it. That's what that scepter is saying to you. This represents the crossing of the 3 snakes, represent.
Wait. What the fuck? That's a trip, bruh. I'm just kind of tripping. Look at that shit, boy. What? I mean, I guess that's for people who have eyes to see and ears to hear. You know what I mean? Isn't that what Jesus said or something? Like, for eyes to see and ears to hear? Fucking crazy. Crazy.
It's the lower 3 chakra. These are lower 3 chakra people. In other words, they have no heart. They have no compassion. They have no empathy. They are not concerned with the upper levels of the chakra, the spiritual experience. They are concerned with the mortal experience. That's why blood, the carrier of life, the giver of life, is their obsession. They are obsessed with the earth. They are obsessed with earth calendars, earth characteristics, the cosmos. This is why all of Christianity comes out of astrotheology, a cosmic idea of the universe. And these people see themselves as the ruler of the cosmos. That's because Satan is the ruler of the earth, the ruler of the material world, the ruler of the bottom 3 chakra. The bottom 3 chakra is the first chakra is just the gripping to life. It's a grim avidity, which is the holding to life for the sake of life itself, for no other reason but to be alive. That's the bottom chakra.
Okay, so real quick, can I pull you in, guys, just a little close? Can I pull you guys in close? Let me just get the chat up over here real quick. Talking about some dark shit, bro. Can we talk some light for a sec, bro? Can we talk some light? Some light? If you believe at all anything that this gentleman is saying, all of this satanic or Saturn connections, the child sacrificing connections, all of this super evil and demonic connections across all religions, not just Judaism. It's the ones for the Islamic religion. It seems as if they might have taken over all of the religions. So tell me this. In the Hermetic principles, it says that there's a law of duality and polarity. That in order for anything to exist, something on the opposite and spectrum has to exist. That's just how it works, right? There's poles, hot, cold, up, down, in, out, right? Joy, sadness, anger, laughter, shit like that, right? So if we're making connections to like these dark and evil things, I just want you right now to affirm to yourself, if you believe in the natural laws of the universe of sound and vibration, and that everything is in your mind and your mind controls this frequency and this reality that you live in, you have to ultimately come to the conclusion, with all the evil that you see, in order for the evil to actually exist, there has to be equal light. But the thing is that the evil's just gotten so outspoken. They've gotten so obvious, in your face. Porn, gambling, violence, hatred, contention, arguments, sacrifice, pedophilia, wars, etc. In order for all of those things to exist, just know that there is a God. There is light. And more as time goes on, humans are waking up not only what this reality has, but inevitably, I would like to assume that the crazier and unpredictable and outright evil that we see in the world today More and more people are like being forced to go down some sort of spiritual identity journey where they're like, what the fuck is the point of all of this? Why do I go to work every day and slave away? Does it seem as if like the taxes that they're taking from me are going to things I resonate with? Do they actually care about our health? What kind of message are they giving to our kids? Why do we need to go to another war? How come it seems like the government's protecting pedophiles? You know what I'm saying? There's more and more people being forced to like look subjectively at what life is and what this is and why is this and who is this and how is this and when is this. If you can resonate with anything that I'm saying, please just put an alien emoji in the chat.
And then the next one up is the sexual chakra. This is the projection of, or excuse me, this is the procreation. This is continuing your life and bloodline through the blood, through the exchange of the fluids of the body. This is all material. This is all matter. And then finally, projection, the power projection, which is the solar plexus, is the final place at the top. This is the projecting of your will, the projecting of your power onto the planet, onto others. This is the shock.
Yes, Nicole, it does seem as if there are cylindrical spirals with chambers kilometers underneath the pyramids. What if that looks like DNA? So they say a live human goes, his box and the vibration of water and solar system are sent to the human. Yeah, if you're inside at a certain time, astrologically inside of the pyramids, there's possibility that that's like a supercharger for the earth. You know what I'm saying? I can agree with that. Really, Nicole, thanks for pointing that out.
That the lion lives by. The gripping to life, the spreading of his genetic, and then the killing and taking of life, power projection. And that's the lion's concern. The lion's concern is not home life. The lion's concern is not the betterment of other groups and other lions. The lion is concerned about himself. He's self-consumed. And so there's no empathy that's going to come out of that lion. There's not going to be any compassion that comes out of that lion. That lion is a predator. That is why these people use that symbology, is they see themselves as predator. They see Satan as a predator, a roaring lion that's devouring. This is what that represents. And of course, it's sitting on the earth. That's a globe that it's sitting upon. And then notice that it's androgyne. It's both male and female, and it is a beast. It is both hooves as well as a human torso. So this idea of androgyne, this idea of smearing the sexes and smearing the gender, these people love that idea. These people, that's why they prey on the kids. And there's this whole gender movement that's happening. It's because the Khazari Mafia is trying to capitalize on this androgyne obsession that they associate with Lucifer. It has nothing to do with the betterment of people's psychology. It has nothing to do with affirming people's drives and will. It has nothing at all to do with that. It is all entirely controlled. This is why those in Hollywood that sell their soul to Satan, when they have children, they're given the choice. They either raise their children as the opposite sex to which they were born, or they sacrifice one of them. So that's the choice. If you want to stay in the group and not die yourself, all your kids, you either raise them all and the opposite sex to what they're born as, or you're going to sacrifice one of them. And that's the deal. These people, they're not, in other words, they're not doing this to affirm the psychology of the child. They're predators. They're preying on the family. They're preying on these groups that they control. And so we see that in this Baphomet, in this representation of the evil that they worship. The head itself, you can see, forms a star. The goatee forms the bottom of the pentagram, then the two ears form the sides, and the two horns form the top. And then that torch there is the light of wisdom. That's essentially the black sun. And it is It is through the balancing of dualism that one controls the mortal world. And so the two horns there at the top represent good and evil. Just like the hands, the two fingers, as above, so below, this is pointing towards dualism. The dualistic characteristic that is the mortal life. They are celebrating that. They are celebrating the mortal life. They are not concerned with transcendence. They are not concerned with orienting to the heart and orienting to the spiritual sense of loving one another. They have absolutely no desire or concern for that. Their concern is usurpation, taking. I take the innocence of those that I sacrifice. I take the innocence of those that I mind control, and I control them. This is what fulfills them. This is what you need to understand. When you don't have a heart, you get fulfillment through control. When you don't center on compassion, you get fulfillment through the taking of life. This is what fulfills you. What gives you energy and emotion and passion is the taking of a free individual's life. This figure is a celebration of that evil. And by knowing this, not only are you not afraid of it, but you understand why it looks like that. That's why it looks like that. If you look here on the left, it says solve and coagula. Distillation. It is through distillation that one understands the world. And through how do I resolve a problem? Let's say I'm trying to separate the alcohol from the water. These are alchemical metaphors I'm talking about here. So if I'm trying to separate the alcohol from the water, the spirit from the matter, I would solve or dissolve it by boiling it. And then I boil out the alcohol, and then I coagulate it. I recondense it back into liquid and collect the extract. And what I've done in that process is I have purified this. And that is what this solve and coagula is claiming. And they're claiming by aligning to these lower three chakras, you purify your life to that of the animal who does not have any consciousness, who does not have anything but instinct. And you are acting on the usurping and the devouring consumption that rules the animal. And this is distillating. This image here is attempting to distillate out of the individual their compassion, so that all that's left is their animal instinct, so that they're a killer. Well, these are alchemical principles that this group is borrowing, is taking, is using for themselves as a representation for this evil. So through the human sacrifice, I purify. Through sacrificing the child, through sacrificing the human being, I purify my mortal self, my mortal being. My spiritual sense is distillated through the sacrifice. See, this stuff relates to you because you can understand this stuff, because most of the West has understood themselves through the distillation of sin. Distilling this out of one's life through the giving of one's.
Off grid does sound beautiful, huh? Wait a second. Let me just ask real quick. Is there any record of Trump ever saying that he's like the reincarnation of Osiris?
I looked into this and could not find any evidence of Donald Trump himself saying he's the reincarnation of Osiris.
But you can't say that AI won't lie. I'm not saying that he didn't say that. Dang, dude, we just barely hit 222 on how long we've been streaming, everyone. If there's your sign, 222.
To this religious system, this belief system, one distillates their idea of themselves through the system, and then they are purified after and through the sacrifice. That's where this idea comes from, folks. It comes straight out of Satanism. It comes straight out of the idea that someone else must die in order for you to be purified. That is a satanic principle, and that has been integrated directly into Christianity, into all the Western religions. You see? This is what you're finding out now, is how deeply you have been lied to about the world, the cosmos, yourself, God, who runs the world, who owns the world and rules the world. You've been totally, completely deceived. And studying this group will teach you that, because that's their MO. Their method of operation is deceit. The Rothschilds, as the front men for the KM, infiltrate and hijack British banking and then hijack the whole nation of England. Bauer Rothschild had 5 sons who infiltrated and took over European banking and the City of London's central banking system through various crafty covert operations, including a false report of Napoleon winning against the British when he actually lost. This allowed the Rothschilds to use fraud and deception to steal the wealth of English nobility and the landed gentry, people of high societal means, nobility, and privilege, who had made business investments with the City of London banking institutions.
Today I'm going to show you the family tree of the Rothschild family, one of the wealthiest families in world history.
What the fuck? Let's just go back a little bit, because I'm gonna just do this. Let's just listen to what he has to say.
Banking institutions.
Today I'm going to show you the family tree of the Rothschild family, one of the wealthiest families in world history, as well as one of the most controversial. First of all, the name Rothschild comes from the German for red shield. It's a reference to the fact that the family originally used a red shield as an identifying mark on their house. Their story begins in Germany with this individual here, Meyer Amschel Rothschild, who was initially a dealer in rare coins and an apprentice banker. However, things really took off for him because of a special relationship he had with a German prince, William IX of Hesse-Kassel. That prince appointed Meyer to be his court Jew.
Wait a second. A Hesse? That's where Hess, Trevor Hess. What the fuck? Hesse? What the shit, motherfuck? What's going on, bro? Let's run that back. Let me hear what he said so I can reference it to Ask Perplexity. What the shit?
Of a special relationship he had with a German prince, William IX of Hesse-Kassel.
Wait. Can you please tell me some information about William IX from Hesse-Kassel? Like, where's Hesse-Kassel?
Sure, William IX, also known as William I, Elector of Hesse, was born in 1743 and died in 1821. He was the eldest surviving son of Frederick II, Landgrave of Hesse-Kassel, and Princess Mary of Great Britain. He inherited one of the largest fortunes in Europe, and in 1803 became Elector William I. William IX was one of the richest princes in Europe, and is known for his association with Meyer Amschel Rothschild, whose appointment as court agent helped launch the Rothschild banking dynasty.
What the fuck?
It sounds like you might be surprised or confused. Let me know what's on your mind, and I'll do my best to help.
Yeah, where's the origin of Hesse? My last name is Hess, but I live in America. Is that the origin of my last name? Because in the past, people had last names according to where they were born and who their dad was.
Sure thing. The surname Hess, also spelled Hess, originates from the region of Hesse in central Germany. Historically, surnames often indicated where someone came from or their family's origin, and Hess means someone originally from Hesse. There are also alternative origins, like a contraction of the personal name Matthäus in some parts of southern Germany, but the most common origin is being from that region. As for Hesse itself, it's a state in central Germany with roots going back to Celtic tribes called the Chatti. Over centuries, it became an influential region in the Holy Roman Empire, eventually evolving into modern-day Hesse. If your last name is Hess, there's a good chance it originally indicated a family connection to that region. Families often got their surnames based on where they lived.
I'm not an op, bro. I'm not a paid opposition, bro. I'm not connected to the Rothschilds, bro. I promise, dude. I'm just a dad of 4 with a beautiful wife. I live in Utah, dude. I'm just a born-again hippie, dude. Just kidding.
That prince appointed Meyer.
Wait, can we just make this weird connection right now about my last name, bro? We were now finding out that the Hesse Empire is connected to the Rothschilds. And what about Rudolf Hess, bro? He was a Nazi, bro. What in the fuck, dude? I told you I'm a generational curse breaker, bro. I'm not a Nazi or a Rothschild central banking family. I'm the one Hess that's changing the bloodline forever.
To be his court Jew. A court Jew was actually an official position in those days. Because Christians were prohibited from certain types of money lending, nobles would often hire a Jew to fulfill this role. So Meyer ended up managing the money for one of the richest princes in Europe, and by doing so, he himself became very rich as well. Eventually, he started managing money for other princes and even entire governments. By this point, he had several adult sons. So what he did was he created a Rothschild bank, and he sent each of his 5 sons to a different capital in Europe to run a branch there. His eldest son, Amschel, ran the original branch in Frankfurt, and then his son Solomon was sent to Vienna, Nathan to London, Karl to Naples, and James to Paris. The family then developed a network of agents that allowed for safe and speedy transfer of gold across the continent, as well as for ease of communication between the various branches. This made all 5 branches extremely successful. However, the London branch was perhaps the most successful of all. During the Napoleonic Wars, Nathan almost single-handedly financed the entire British war effort and took care of paying British troops and their allies across the continent. So by the 1820s, the Rothschilds were the wealthiest family in Europe, and they continued to be hugely influential within the world of international finance throughout the 19th century. The 5 brothers were given the title of Baron by the...
Marie, dude. I have a confession to make now that you're all making it back. What's up, Kelty? What's up, Koi Fish? If you're here, say what's up. I'd love to say hello to you. You guys just fucking... This is going to be a good clip later to post, bro. You just watched me crash out because my last name, bro. My last name was connected to the Rothschilds and the Nazis, bro. I just crashed out on camera, bro. Just had my mind blown, dude. Like I said, bro, we're a generational curse breaker up here, dude. Everything's all gravy. I'm not a paid up, I promise. I'm just a dad barely getting by. Just trying to spread truth, love, and light. I'm not a Rothschild or a Nazi, bro. I promise, dude. I'm full of love, light, and liberty.
Emperor of Austria, which is why you often see the German von or a French de before their last name. Nathan, being based outside of the continent, was one of the few that did not use the title. So let's look at the 3rd generation Rothschilds. Almost all of the males in the 3rd generation married one of their female first cousins. This ensured that the dynasty's wealth stayed within the family. So, for example, Anselm, the firstborn son of Solomon, married his cousin Charlotte, the daughter of Nathan. He's shown in yellow because he's from the Austrian branch, and she's shown in red because she's a member of the British branch. Likewise, Lionel, the firstborn son of Nathan, married his cousin, also named Charlotte, but she was a daughter of Karl from the Italian branch.
This is Jacob Rothschild on the right and Marina Abramovic on the left. And the reason why I'm showing you this...
Real quick. We have to just ask, do you know who Marina Abramovic is? Who is not a witch? Well, maybe. Just kidding. That was a Chris Webby lyric. Do you know who Marina Abramovic is? Let me just before he goes any further, can you please pull up images of Marina Abramovich with A-list celebrities? Oh, she's where's the celebrities? We want celebrities. Give me the celebrities. Okay, there's one with Lady Gaga, Jay-Z, all these celebrities. Where is she at? That's not even a picture. Swizz Beats, Al Pacino. Wait, who is this with Marina Abramovich? Oh yeah, that's probably some models. I think that looks like Naomi. What's her name? Maybe not. Maybe I'm not thinking about it right. You know what I'm talking about. Wait, there's one right there. Jay-Z. Oh yeah, Jay-Z. Whoever this douchebag is. This guy. And this guy. And whoever that woman is. You've seen her. She's a spirit cooker. You know, the spirit cooking.
This is from a couple of years ago at an event that they attended. And the reason I'm showing you this is for you to see that they really are Satanists. But they come across, look, he's just standing with his hands behind his back. There's nothing to worry about. But look what's behind him. That's some kind of painting. We're going to study that in a minute. This is Marina here. She's also practicing Satanist. Notice this picture on the left here with the child. Notice also, this is a woman who's never had any plastic surgery, so she claims, and she's in her 70s. Does that look like a person who's in their 60s and 70s in these pictures? Did you know that adrenochrome de-ages you? Did you know that? Did you know that it makes the skin tighter and thicker? Keeps your hair color the same color. It will never gray. If you're consistently drinking adrenochrome, you will de-age. You won't age. This is one of the secrets in Hollywood of how all of the men and women don't age and stay looking so young. It's because they have a consistent diet of adrenochrome, children's blood. What is the painting that they are standing in front of? This is a painting called Satan Summoning His Legions. Now, why do you think at a special gala public event they would want to be pictured right in front of Satan summoning his legions? Think that's coincidence? I noticed something about this painting here on the left. Do you notice something above Satan's head there? Look at the dude on the right, how he's looking up at it. Here's a closer shot. That looks like a mouth to me, and two eyes. See the red? That looks like the mouth of Satan, does it not? Look here. Look how much it looks like the papal hall at the Vatican, which looks like a snake mouth. Here's a bigger picture of it. Do you see the little white light dots going into the mouth? Those look like souls flowing into the mouth of Satan. Here we have the papal hall. You don't believe me? Here it is occupied. That is literally the papal hall at the Vatican in Rome. Does that look like a snake mouth to you? Do those look like scales on the ceiling and on the walls? Here's a viper mouth. Interesting. Here's the outside of the building. Here's a snake. Do those look similar to you? Here's a close-up. Look at how the stained glass forms an eye. Look at the scales on top and how it slopes like a snake head slopes. Has the brow over the eye. Look how it's tile on the outside, look like scales. These people are mocking you, folks. They're mocking you with their architecture.
Okay. I had no idea. That's pretty insane about the shape of the building connected to the inside of the building. What the fuck? A snake head? That's insane. Garden of Eden? The serpent? What the fuck? Dude, I need a grown up, dude. Oh my god.
They're putting who? The entire congregation into the mouth of the snake. The Rothschilds set up a private fiat banking system that specialized in making counterfeit money from nothing, charging pernicious usury illegal taxes for the British people, using what should have been their own money. This was the black art of Babylonian money magic. They claimed to insiders that such technology and secret money power was provided to them by Lucifer, Baphomet, because of their frequent child bleeding out and ritual sacrifices to him. And we already looked at the Baphomet's.
What's up, Porter?
We know that is Satan. Once they had infiltrated and hijacked the British banking system, they interbred prima nocte with the British royals. We talked about that earlier, remember, where they bred with the local kingdoms there in the 1500s, and they hijacked the royalty systems, the nobility systems that were in place with their own seed, prima nocte. Some experts believe that the Rothschilds genocided the royal family members by staging secretly managed illicit and adulterous breedings with their own Khazarian men in order to replace the royals with their own pretenders to the throne, a practice known as prima nocte, and we all remember the scene in Braveheart when that happened.
All right, guys. I don't know if you guys can resonate with this, bro. Do we need some breathing exercise, bro, after all this heavy ass shit, bro. Today's been a heavy one, right? I tried to give you some light and love at the beginning with my mindful message, bro, but then we dived into some political shit that was on the internet. And then we dived into the freaking Zorro Ranch, bro. And then we started talking about the Khazarian Mafia, bro. You guys want to do a breathing exercise, bro? I did warn you we were going down a crazy fucking rabbit hole today. We're going down a lot of deep shit. I did say that in the beginning. You are right. A collective meditation. I try to do these, bro. I try to do these little collective breathwork meditation things, bro, where we can just all realign our energy back to our breath and at least take a 10-minute little checkpoint in our day if you have the ability to do so while you're watching and listening, to just breathe and just ground yourself and just get back to baseline energy, let go of negative energies, you know what I'm saying? Clear your mind, your consciousness, because sometimes we get into some really heavy shit, bro, like deep diving into the Zorro Ranch, bro, and then talking about all this shit right here, bro, about the Satanists and Saturn and modern religions and all the stuff, bro. It gets heavy, bro. And so I just, when we have heavy ones, bro, I just like to do a little breathing exercise because I don't want to leave you with this heavy energy. That would be wrong of me. You know what I'm saying? I want to leave you with a grounded energy, an energy that you feel revitalized. You know what I'm saying? You feel revitalized, because that's everything we went over today, bro, is a lot of information to process, bro. Can you agree with me? It's a lot of information to process, bro. Let's do a 10-minute breath work chakra meditation. A daily recharge. You guys ready for this? If you can, I appreciate you guys. Just get somewhere where you can like relax. If you can't do that, obviously it's all right, bro. Obviously, if you can't lay down or sit down and shit, take some deep breaths. I respect you. It's okay if you gotta go. If you don't want to go and just listen to the vibes or whatever meditation it is, I would appreciate that too. But I will talk to you after this 11-minute meditation. Wait a second. Just real quick. C Porter's up in the house, bro. C Porter's up in the house. What's up, bro? I love you, bro. Team Human's out here, bro. Team Human is out here, bro. Hell yeah, we're actually getting ready to do a freaking little breath work, bro. We went over some heavy shit today, bro. We've been live for 2 hours and 44 minutes, 37 seconds. We've went over some deep and heavy topics, bro, from Satanism all the way to Epstein, bro. And so, like, deep into Satanism, and then a whole different topic in Epstein and Zorro Ranch. Y'all got to see old Trevor or Trip crash out over his last name being connected to the Nazis and the Rothschilds, bro. It's insane. It's gonna take me a while to process that, if I'm being 100 with you. You guys want to do some breath work? We're gonna do some breath work, bro. I tripped out, bro. It was a trip. It's crazy, bro. Like I said, generational curse breaker. I don't know this to be true, but it could possibly be that I'm the only Hess out there that's breaking the brainwashing from both the Nazis and the Rothschilds. Oh, man. Thank you guys for being here.
Meditation for chakra expansion. Begin by sitting in a quiet place where you will not be interrupted.
Nope, sorry, can't do her voice. We're gonna try a different one. I'm a weird guy, can't do her voice. It's gotta be the perfect voice.
Begin by sitting in a comfortable position.
Geez, you just got all of them on here?
Welcome to our 10-minute chakra breathing meditation. This practice will help you align and balance your chakras, the energy centers of your body, using breath and visualization.
I can't do that one. It sounds like AI. Sorry, you guys. I can't do that one. It sounds like AI to me. I'd rather have a real human speaking, bro. You guys ready for this? Here we go.
All right. Welcome, all you beautiful breathing people. Sit down, lie down, whatever you would like. Me, I like to lay down because I'm able to fill up my lungs more and have a deeper experience. But to each his own. In today's practice, we will be doing 3 rounds of deep inhales and exhales, followed by 1 1-minute breath hold and 2 1-minute 30-second breath holds. The last 2 rounds, there will be a bit faster breathing, something like, but don't worry, the music is here to guide you along the way, along with my voice. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this natural high. All right, let's begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, inhale. In, out, in, out, good. Try to fill up the stomach, then fill up the chest, let it out. In, out, in, out. You're doing great. All right, 10 more. In, out. All right, 4 more. 3, 2. On the last one, get as much as you can in, fully in. Now exhale, let it out. Relax. Listen to the music. Just be aware of what you're feeling.
You should be holding your breath.
Listen to the rhythm of your heartbeat, to the rhythm of this music. Just relax fully. You're almost there. 30 more seconds. And in this next round, halfway through, there will be some faster breathing. Just follow along to the rhythm and enjoy the ride. 10 more seconds. Inhale in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale fully and hold for 15 seconds. Exhale in 3, 2, 1. Fully out. Get ready for round 2. All right, in
So
3,
there's a breath hold
2,
at the end.
1. Fully in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Stay with the rhythm. Stay with the breath. Fill up the stomach, fill up the chest, and let it out. All right, 3 more, and then we will start breathing a bit faster. Last one, follow the rhythm. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Good. Keep on following the rhythm. You're almost there. Good. 4, 3, 2. Last one, fully in. Exhale, let it out. 1.5 minute breath hold. And by now, you might be experiencing different sensations throughout your body. Maybe you feel a change in your body temperature or some tingling in your face. Just witness it and be with it. And each time that you become aware of these sensations, you are coming back to the present moment, to here and now. All right, 30 seconds left. If you ever feel the need to breathe, just breathe. All right, 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fully in. Hold for 15 seconds. Exhale in 3, 2, 1. Exhale fully. Get ready for the last round. 3,
Holy shit, motherfucker.
2, 1. In, out, in, out. Follow the rhythm. Bring it all in, out, in, out. Okay, 4 more, and then we're going into the fast rest. Remember, just follow along to the rhythm. Okay, last one. Here we go. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Good. Stick with the rhythm. You're doing good. Almost there. 5 more. 4, 3, 2. Last one fully in. Let it out. 1.5 minute breath hold. Maybe you find yourself thinking about what you need to do after this or what you were doing before this. Just come back to how you were feeling. Witness these sensations, the rhythm of your heart, the tingling in your face. How does your body temperature feel? All of that is here and now. More seconds. The breath can always take us back to now. So when you're lost in thought and conversation or waiting in a line, just take a few slow breaths, and voila, you're back in the now. 10 more seconds. You're doing great. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fully in. Hold at the top. 15 seconds. All right. Exhale in 3, 2, 1. Fully out. Very good. Let your breathing return to normal. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, wiggle your nose. I can't, but maybe you can. All right. Let me know below in the comments what you thought, and I wish you all the best.
Bro. Holy shit. Let's give this dude a subscription. Breathe with Sandy. I'm going to share this link if you guys want to use this at a later date, bro. That was pretty good, bro. I don't know about you, bro. That shit was pretty profound, bro. The shit just like really helped me. It really helped me calm down after. Energetically, I feel a vibration, bro. Dude, I feel like my whole body's vibrating, bro. And all we did right there, bro, was just use our breath, bro. Isn't that what this is all about, bro? We all breathe. And if you just join me in that breathwork meditation, bro, you did all of that with just your breath. Not only did the breathing itself tremendously biologically at a molecular level help your body saturate with oxygen, but it also brought you into the present moment, bro. Isn't the present moment where divinity resides? You guys, currently at this moment, please, if you can, Tripoverdrip. Support the channel. Tripoverdrip.shop. I just want all of you guys to know I love you so much. I'm financially in a bind, bro. I'm struggling. If you want to help support the channel, bro, you could purchase some merch. If you are on Twitch, if you have PayPal, bro, and you feel compelled that you wanted to help in any capacity, there's the link right there that will allow you to send some bread if you feel like you can to my PayPal. No obligation whatsoever. But I love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out. Have a blessed day. If nobody's fucking told you today, bro, you're amazing. You're beautiful. You're handsome. You're smart. You can change behaviors. It's okay not to be okay. You can do anything you set your mind to, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of people out there like you. The world needs more people out there like you, bro. The world is needing somebody just like you to just wake up and change that one thing, hold that one boundary, say yes when you when you feel like saying no, say no when you feel like you got to say yes. Tell the truth even if it's uncomfortable. And don't let the people around you ever forget about the Epstein files. I love you guys. Peace the shit out, dude.